hidden in pockets. White supremacists, these narcissists, never the vicious. I'm trading their permissions, even as your position is found with a couple misses. But most they dissing, posturing and speaking out of fear. Super consciousness, our warriors of virtual opportunity. We don't forget, we don't forget. Expect us, wasn't no one to protect us. Come together as a legion, internet unite, connect us. We will make our presence known. We got folks on the megaphones. SQL inject intravenously like it's prednisone. Rebelling on a larger scale. We Jonas came to slay the whale. We hip till they slither and swinging them lizards by their tail. We check their mail, defacing professional looking webpage. When I rhyme, I whip the sheeples, catatonic vestige, battling the message encapsulated in the rap track. Black facts is project chronology, talking fat ass, but a back fact. And I'm the type of person never had jack. Destruction of Chris Ford camp, put away this ass that. We vigilant, the vigilante, highest staking up the anti-cross site, scripting Felicia Palmer with bunched up panties. Epilepsy foundation, fall from invasion. Turks and Brazilians, Tunisians, even Malaysians.
Gawker website we pulled up just to see, have a look about what's going on. It talks about the power people now have on the internet if they want to do this.
Technically speaking, they are heroes because they can solve everything. They are all over the security systems.
Train event, we rage and give a fuck about a cussing club McKay hatch. Profanity, I spew it for the fucking loving cause I can. And who the hell is you to try to change a man? Operation Payback, radical Avenger Sands, intelligent Israelis with viruses known as Stuxnet. Programming logic controllers and root kids ass. We need to know, trying to feed the homeless, cops are screaming no. Government and corporate sources, we must defeat our foes as freedom goes. They trying to sniff us out and get the ISPs reversing the cameras on computers. Feds are eyeing me, Marine Corps, Brick Bradley, man and naked, the Quantico. Maximum security methods with torches chronicle to Aaron Bar. Forever you will walk around with slash and scar and crash your car. Executives are worshiping the morning star. It is bizarre, the people are the ones oppressing people. When will the day come we recognize as equals? Electronic money from Satoshi Nakamoto, spending bitcoins on hoes for their photos with no komodos. Remarkable power, the python is clearing syntax. International Federation of Photo Bin Jack. The script kiddies hacking to the mainframe of big cities. YouTube videos for children showing big titties. No pity for the oppressive and get it through your skulls. We were born to change the world, evolving past the hacks for laws.
There are hackers which are fighting for some kind of ideological points and hackers who are just doing illegal activities.
The police department goes into certain things and the government goes into certain things. Probably I would put that on the same level as I would someone who goes in and hacks into a site they're not supposed to be on.
The bottom line is, if you have information in a database someplace, consider yourself a potential target.
Expect us. We don't forgive, so don't forget.
Or is it morning? Couple days out awake and I see me yawning. James Bonding, ping it and it ain't responding. Mission accomplished, yeah bitch I'm pawning. Roll out the crib, white hat on the crest. Spam tech like a badge on the right of my chest. Flip on my sidekick, I flip my wrist. SSH to my box, page down the next. My stats look good, what about my checks? So many digits to Googleplex. Rotation of the earth like my spam subjects. Perplex the best, the wicked get no rest. Slide in my Chrysler, the blades will slice your mesh grill on the front just to entice your iPod in the dash, nerve life supreme. Track to the spam tech audio stream. Still live my life like the perfect dream. There ain't a soul that can touch me on my team. Nah. District attorneys set out on journeys, and then I lead them on like a weekend at Bernie's. Feds on the same track, collecting my combos. See me on AIM, talking to all the blind hoes. Condos, coast to coast, wireless enabled. When they set the sniff, I switch the cables. IPs bounce through multi-nations. I keep confidential like doctors' patients. It's nerd life and it's DG death. Represent DG to my dying breath.
I'm full of DG and I ain't gonna stop. So don't twist it up, make it something it's not. From handcuffs to bandwidth, I'm still kicking. And I fry your ass like a piece of chicken. I'm still a DG and I ain't gonna stop. So don't twist it up, make it something it's not. From handcuffs to bandwidth, I'm still kicking. And I'll fry your ass like a piece of chicken.
Drive to the local coffee stop, pull my laptop out and set up shop. 5 for the coffee, pay and swap. Caught a couple Xbox to my drop. It's a Merry Christmas if you figure this. Both the naughty and nice are on my list. And if you notice something missing, don't get pissed. I pulled all your info from LexNexis. Those who cross me cross with care, because I won't leave till you all is spare. You can't run from your social, cause I'll be there. And I'll get your next one, you don't have a prayer. I swear, people baffle for me. Who the fuck would even wanna battle me? Boy, what a fucking day that'll be when their life disappears with their chattel, G. Don't battle me, cause we rich in numbers. Every day see a couple of fresh newcomers trying to make a name off of my demise, and I always hit them up with the whitey surprise. Might not happen right away cause I lay in the weeds, and I strike like a snake whenever I please. And such is the life of most DGs. You don't see it coming till you're on your knees, begging and pleading, please stop beefing. You don't understand, we get mad and even, but it ain't even fair cause we leave them breathing. Dealing with the shitstorm of digital treason, squeaming, screaming, so now reaping. End up as a blip on my sidekick beeping. Every time they try to weasel out of my trap, I pull them right back, put their head in my lap. Little stressful, but I got enough SIGs and I got enough proxies to shake the pigs. Carton after carton of these 72s, and I'm still pulling hits out my underoos. I still bruise, pack up and DOS a server, sit back and act like a calm observer. Call all the shots from miles away, sitting in the Starbucks at the break of day. I don't play, so act like you think you know, cause I'm a fucking DG, you're a fucking bitch, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. ODD TV. Payday Monsanto. Let's get it, homie.
We sleep. The alarm's going off. Beep, beep. Time to wake up to the deceit. Our whole reality's made up by the elite. They live. We sleep. The alarm's going off. Beep, beep. Time to wake up to the deceit. Our whole reality's made up by the elite.
They live, we sleep. The alarm's going off. Beep, beep. Time to wake up to the deceit. Our whole reality's made up by the elite. They live, we sleep. The alarm's going off. Beep, beep. Time to wake up to the deceit. Our whole reality's made up by the elite. I came here to kick some ass just like Roddy Piper. These motherfuckers that walk among us, they got me hyper. But don't be chewing that bubble gum, it's got aspartame. It's a chemical directly targeted at your brain, just like the fluoride that they put in the water supply, and all the geoengineering we got in the sky. I'm trying to tell you, and I hope that you're hearing me clearly. This ain't no bullshit speculation, conspiracy theory. They live and they're controlling every move.
Hey, I'm back. Audio's coming in good, so.
Yeah, I've got, it's a lot louder. I've been having trouble hearing the past few times I was on, but today it's nice. I can hear perfectly good.
Oh, on the live stream?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my net speed. My roommate decided it was good. One point, he thought that buying the alarms package was like a really good idea. So like, right now I'm hitting that. I'm hitting 11 megabits, so I'm doing damn good.
Nice.
We sleep. The alarm's going off.
Except for I gotta like wear my mask like, here and there when I go live, because sometimes it like prompts my camera. When they try to prove their spinning ball Earth is remarkable. Their arguments are absolutely
we can hear you. Or I can hear you.
Lovely, I made it.
Theory has been blown into tiny little particles. The pharmacological drugs they got the masses on precludes them from putting their
I'm just waiting for other people to come in.
When they do, they're unable to gaze too straight, because for most of them it's way too late for them to see past their condition.
Is anybody watching? Is anybody else on the page?
Anything outside their paradigm.
I'm not right now.
They are ensconced in a nonsensical certitude, brainwashed by devils to revel in their servitude.
Like we already got
idiocracy, pure hypocrisy, waking these dummies up used to mean a lot to me.
They didn't say it like
but
that.
Nowadays I want to tip their canoes, and as they drown, tell them this is what you get when you snooze.
I try to get a hold of parents, but he's like MIA right now.
Oh, is this? They've never really watched it before then, hey?
Yeah.
Very informed.
Yeah, because I'd rather have like parents get on, because he was there, and the only guy I know is Brendan, whatever, and he's like, he was gonna leave, but he's like still there, and there's no way I can get a hold of him. It's unreliable.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So do we have a number of people that are going to be on, or?
it's just gonna be you, me, and possibly Jody, and then Arthur's getting on, and so Loki's.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna drop out and see what's going on in the live stream right now.
Okay.
Alright.
Either put on these glasses or start eating that trash can.
This palette that I paint with, cold fragments sitting all up in the system matrix. Make shit happen for the back and keep it dangerous. Hackers around me coming in through the basement, chase it all up to the tippy top. I can tell I shut an island with a QC shining like diamonds, and I feel like dying sometimes when I'm flying on a focus. And my clothes stay the dopest and hope it's gonna keep on staying clear. One of the following years, inflict fear on all other antis. Trying to keep a man down in this franchise. Gotta keep both eyes open, cause you never know when a broken link or a token gonna set the whole world on fire. In the ocean of the side space, run it up and lose it all just like a MySpace. Baby buggers with the break points to make the money, make it rain on all the strippers at the shake joints. Feel a hacker with an attitude, getting paper as a batter do. Chilling in the tropical latitude, the gratitude of an internet beaming. The boy stayed out here dreaming, trying to shake all of his demons, but failing. Give your boy props cause he's still mailing. Those folk keep on sailing, keep my eyes on the merchants like Sarah Palin. Me and Rod Barnett on the internet of shit, got the firmware square, lead 3 is sailing. Patches that I paint with, built all up on that busy box proxy payments. Docking containers on these IP raiders for the baby blue check mark, verified famous. Free pain, who you paint with. This game's for the brains to the jails from the spaceship. Affidavits from the agents, 100 pages. Knock the aliens off the internet and stages. CIs who shall remain nameless. Imprison bright minds for crimes with sealed statements. Protests on the pavement to rein it in. Another soldier on the streets, meet the taste again. Rigged game with the pay to win. With the elites fight elite, hackers aiding and spin. I gotta pray to the man to keep me out of the band, so I don't catch a case just to stay in the trance. But in the meantime, I'm seeing all of my friends. Them copping the pleas, I got them bending the knee. Threatening with treason in the first degree. Say you give him 20 years in a penitentiary. With the block with the EM spectrum, isolate the embassy and disconnect the head from WikiLeaks and there some leading to the crib dump, trying to smoke it out with a 5-eye thread bump. See an actor of the state going do it up face, and another government start losing its face. Then officials on the news say we're losing no race. Meanwhile, our talent is proving up case. DJs forward their thing with the orderless team, cause we live that borderless dream. One family united by the internet. Stanley, X-Men married to the game, and the best man flexing, dressing hoodies at a desk, and pressing text in a terminal session, penetration testing, messing with muggles, keep them guessing. All these big websites on the DG's hit list. Upstream fitness, connection, keep the ping time, healthy quickness. Is it a wonder that the hackers of the world making front page news across the globe with all the exploits? And they try to lock us up by the truckload. Fuck no, bringing all that truth to the front though. Casuals in the crosshairs, in a safe place on my internet, they can call theirs. Got a nerd in every day, send a bumping my tunes on the speakers behind 9 floors, locked doors. TTO in his Tesla, press the repeat button, cause he need a bang and a swing too. Leave Dib in the shed with a can of coke red, trying to write his last lines of the same tune.
me behind me. Blind super light on my drive with a line beat. Hackers on the net define me. Fiends on a quest to kill -9 me. White hat warriors choreograph their blast to match my black hat psyche. Hacker music, man, I code these flows so crews can abuse it. Hacker music, playlist for that late night make the new shit. Hacker music, man, I code these flows so crews can abuse it. Hacker music, playlist for that late night make the new shit. New chauffeurs and them Snowden, stream UTF fading coding. All the states about to hacking with the backing of an agency. Man, we playing in the major leagues. Candidates in elections risk that infection from anyone who got the source code of the next gen. Hypervisor inception, cloud burst servers with that burst protection. They flex arrest if they catch you home. Clocking in bitch like a metronome. You best bless your phone when that stay right on. Cause there ain't no telling when that thing stay on. My squad stay turned to the SDR. With a replay attack the straight grease your car. We do it all. Hardware, software, e-space, meat space. Whipping out the work in a briefcase. Witness, database longer than a cam girl's wish list. Stop that business. Bitcoin and the treasure keep crypto Christmas. Is it a wonder that the hackers of the world still banging my music when it penetrate the gives in? Even haters recognize the Christian state of when I'm speaking this digital pimpin'. Hacker music, man, I code these flows so crews can abuse it. Hacker music, playlist for that late night make the new shit. Hacker music, man, I code these flows so crews can abuse it. Hacker music, playlist for that late night make the new shit.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweigh the dangers which are cited to justify it.
Face the facts, join our hands, make a stand. It's time to gather plans, get the shot, take the chance. Till there is no one left, stay correct to the death. They can't ever break a freedom, we will never let it. The corrupt politics is killing the system. Cynicism is it, and it's everything that you witness. They tell you what to think, make you believe that they're the realness. They feed us full of lies, and yet we always forgive them. It's all conspiracy, and if defeated in a witch, you're the puppet, the government's pulling strings from above you. It's time for the introduction to truth, and let's start a movement. We've all been brainwashed, they believe that we all are stupid. We believe in what we see and whatever our ears are hearing. But if you look close, listen, gather your own opinion, you'll understand all the lies, lines and what's between them. This word is not your oyster, this word is a fucking prison. Come on! To what's happening in our nation. No one will stand up for the fear of assassination. So they strip us of everything. We stand there and just take it. Scared to make a stand, a false flag operation. Research Illuminati, find out by 9/11. You see they line their pockets, don't believe the lies they tell you. Trying to seek the truth, realize we need to do whatever it is we can to protect our livelihood. It's time for us to prove whether conspiracy or not. They owe some explanations to the questions that we got. What are the skull and bones? What is lying beneath all these secretive meats? Got you lying between your teeth. What's with the Bilderberg and burning your effigies? I'm praying to Lucifer. How Satanist can you be? While all of the time praying you believing in the peace just to keep up appearances within Christianity. Come on. Stay strong when they try to shut us down or turn around, let us storm them. We got the warnings, let us march from the morning through the night. We gon' fight and close the eye and overthrow all these damn secret societies. Why we gotta stand for the new world
of my LED television, hella pimpin'. On these internets, I got a relevant mission. Seems we got a problem with some rival borders. And we got a Lord of laws that tell us they are on a quest to slaughter. Every bit of our operation, they can't copy, so they hatin'. So I'm keeping my methods close to the chest. I rock the knock on speed dial, case I got a social. Internal contacts that ain't taking tape mobile. Oh no, I ain't designed off. Checking to see if it's suspended or if it got reset and appended to the SM.txt. The enemy is holding on their central server. If it isn't, I'll be golden. In the meantime, XOR found a demon that can co-wrote and exploit for. I must be dreaming, but we gotta find the offset. This distro's unlisted, so perhaps we cannot do this like some script kiddie bitches. Hacker war, I'm engaged in the pit of a hacker war. Hacker war, my man is boyfriend, the size a bit fatter than yours. Hacker war, I'm engaged in the pit of a hacker war. Hacker war, the stakes are high when you're high and your money's a score. Swatting ain't my stop it. If we need, I got my burner. And I can push his DID through my voice server. In the Philippines, the biblical, like the Philistines, I hit the greens and get the crew lifted. Couple lines and I'll be tables, and I keep them out the sequel box. Hitting us from summits at our data center, Equinix, grabbing hits and keeping clicks. Party server blazing on the mathematics like an Asian. Back sockets up just for the occasion. In the meantime, I'll be raising an Ida to disassemble all they progs. Jump with Ollie like a skateboarding frog. Is debugger present? Not at all. Focus on the leader. Paste business docs, Adobe Reader, Google Docs. Tweet it from a 9-knops. Cause I ratted on the RDP. Stole the box accounts and free my aim from the Comdesk fraud. Who's the boss of the bar? I'm engaged in the pit of a hacker war. Hacker war. My man is boyfriend, the size a bit fatter than yours. Hacker war. I'm engaged in the pit of a hacker war. Hacker war. The stakes are high when you're high and your money's a score.
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly. I order all those assembled to immediately disperse. You may be arrested. unlawful assembly. I order all those assembled to immediately disperse.
Okay.
You may be arrested and/or
Okay.
What up?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hello,
Not
hello.
much. Hello to everybody out there listening and watching.
What up?
Hi, Anon family. Good to see everybody.
Hey, this is Tyler. I'm doing a backup broadcast. Our main guy is out of town, and we totally forgive. I'm totally apologize for the backup streams. I had some really bad net issues yesterday. Can anybody hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Alright, so we are doing good. Alright, so Echo, what did you want to talk about today?
Okay, so I wanted to talk about these anti-protest bills that are popping up in numerous states. There's some that have already been rejected, and there are some that are being considered, and there's some that are talked about and that we can kind of keep an eye out for to be introduced pretty soon. And they're all pretty wild and incredibly oppressive, really. So the first thing I want to mention is the reason I want to, touch on some of the ones that were rejected is because, yes, they were rejected, but they were barely rejected. I mean, the vote was really, really, really close. So if they change them just a little bit and put them back through, there's a good chance that they could make it unless we get the word out and get a lot of people to keep an eye out and, make calls, send emails, voice your opposition to these. There's a big one in Arizona that most people have heard of, that the senator in that case specifically said that he, killed the bill because of all the calls that he got. So another thing, too, to keep in mind with a lot of these, many of these, many of these bills are really kind of taking existing laws and just making them a lot more, making the penalties significantly greater, and the wording is often very vague, so that it can target any quote unquote unlawful assembly. So it's not that it's entirely new. It's that they're kind of they're trying to expound on existing things so that they can essentially gather more people under the umbrella and make it easier to criminalize essentially really our free speech. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So the one that we had tried to talk about yesterday was the one in Arizona, and I know a lot of people have been talking about this one. That was the one where it would have expanded the state racketeering laws so that if you were suspected as to have organized a protest, that's the really key thing here in the wording, is that you didn't even have to be. They didn't even have to necessarily prove, but if you were suspected to have organized a protest, then they could seize your assets, arrest you and seize your assets, so your house and stuff like that. That bill was dropped just recently, I believe. February 27th is when they killed that bill, and that one, like I said, the senator specifically said he killed it because of all the calls he got. So that one was a pretty high profile one, and it didn't make it through, and that's good. But it it could still, they could put it back through if they change the wording a little bit. So I think we should keep our eyes open for a lot of these bills because they are popping up a lot.
Yeah, and this wasn't the first time. This wasn't the first time I saw them try and pass something like this. I thought, in early on in the DAPL, the Senate was trying to come up with a similar law. Am I wrong about that?
I'm not positive.
I do believe I remember seeing something about that with the DAPL, for sure.
I mean, you can when you look at the dates and you look at sort of the way that these bills began to pop up and the progression that they made, it's pretty obvious that it's DAPL that, that really started this chain of events, seeing how effective that, that gathering was. A lot of states have now, are clearly trying to put these bills through to prevent, either prevent people or, to intimidate so that you won't even try, to do this in the future.
Yeah.
So speaking of, North Dakota, it looked like there was one bill that was passed on February 21st. The bill is HB 1304, and it prohibits wearing masks, hoods, or any coverings. Now, some people might say, like, oh, well, why, yeah, I can understand, don't conceal your identity. But again, the wording is so vague, that wearing a hoodie could qualify, that, pretty much the only thing that was spelled out as an exception is if you wear a head covering for religious purposes. So again, a big problem with all of these bills is the wording is so vague that it's almost anything can apply.
It's deliberately vague.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's another one in North Dakota that was just rejected. Again, very, very narrowly rejected, though. And that one is the one that would allow drivers to hit and even kill anyone who is obstructing traffic as long as it's, quote unquote, unintentional. So that one was another one that I saw a lot of people talking about. It was pretty high profile. There was a lot of people talking about it. It did not go through. It was not passed. But like I said, the vote was like 41-50. So again, if they changed that wording up a little bit or something, I would anticipate that they're going to try and put that through again.
Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that they want to make protesting a form of economic terrorism, and they're going to do it any way, shape, or possible. This is another way, that we see around us that we're actually losing our rights.
And there was actually one in Tennessee that looked like it was just passed that was similar and similar to the one in North Dakota that didn't pass. This one did pass in Tennessee, and it prevents the drivers who hit protesters from being sued, as long as the driver was exercising, quote unquote, due care. I don't even know what that means.
What does that even mean? You hit a pedestrian, pedestrians always have the right of way.
Yeah, I don't even understand that. But yeah, that one, it looks like it did get passed, and will go into effect July 1st.
Sorry, one thing I just want to interject with is obviously Black Lives Matter might have upset the apple cart a little bit with the the blocking of the traffic, and I believe I heard somewhere that maybe there was an injured child or something like that wasn't able to get to hospital. Look, I don't know if that's true or not, but it seems ironic to me that they should be suggesting that you can kind of run over another person's life. Even if you were trying to save someone in your car. One life for another life doesn't make any sense either, does it?
Well, what's kind of messed up, because you mentioned, that you had heard that something about like an injured child that wasn't able to get to the hospital or something. I think what that was, I saw some articles that mentioned something along those lines, but what it was actually a hypothetical situation. There's actually no case that anybody could cite where that actually happened. I think it was a hypothetical. It sounded to me like it was a hypothetical situation that was used and almost became like an urban legend, where it just was passed around as if it actually occurred. But I couldn't find any evidence that has ever, in fact, occurred.
That's interesting too, because by the time it gets all the way over here through the Chinese whispers and whatnot, it becomes that's exactly what happened, kind of thing. Because I remember hearing a few reports, and I can't be certain if it was mainstream or independent news, but that's how it was coming across to us about it. So very interesting.
Well, and I can't say that I completely exhaustively, looked for a case, so maybe it did happen, but from what I read today when I was doing some research, what I found a lot of was proponents of these bills using something like that as a hypothetical situation in order to sort of support why we need these bills. But when questioned,
why would we need them?
cite exactly. Well, and that's the thing is, you've got people saying, why would we need a bill like this? Because they're saying, oh, we need it for public safety. Well, at what point is the public unsafe? Oh, well, what about a case like this? And it was hypothetical. So I couldn't find any case where it actually happened that, I can't say for sure that it hasn't, but I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, no, I'd be inclined to.
I was just thinking off the top of my head, like the reason people protest is because there is something wrong, and that's why we're doing it.
Exactly, and that's the thing that's saddening about
the public trying to, point out what we see wrong, and now they're telling us we can't even do that anymore. We can't even go out on the streets and say, hey, you're not managing our affairs correctly. We pay you to do that, So what right do they have to turn around and tell us that we cannot oppose what they're doing? We are the people.
And I think it's really important to point out the fact that, we already have adequate laws against destruction and violence. These bills are not, new laws, to write in new laws that somehow don't exist in order to, punish crimes that involve destruction and violence. Those already exist. These bills are clearly efforts to stifle free speech, to intimidate, to suppress democracy.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like I was saying in the mic check earlier, just some of these bills even making it to the floor, I mean, is just completely obscene,
Oh, yeah.
Some of these are so outlandish and so outrageous. I mean, to legally be able to run over just the ideal of that just being on the floor of Congress. It's completely just messed up in my eyes.
It's like, you're in a protest and you need to get through, so you ran over some protesters. Now that's legal. It's like, what the fuck are you guys thinking, dude?
Okay, so here's one that's still under consideration that I think really needs a lot of attention. In my opinion, I feel like we really need a ton of people to be calling, emailing, contacting, to oppose this.
Oh, we got the information on the page as well.
Good. Okay, cool. So we've got links up there and everything. Some brief, description of what each bill is, and links to contact senators and everything. So this one in Minnesota would give cities the authority to sue protesters to recover cost of policing demonstrations.
What?
Yes, and here's the amazing part about it is that the law gets to decide they can nitpick. They can just decide which protesters they do and don't feel like holding accountable. The whole thing is just bizarre and ridiculous. Why the fuck would we? I just can't even imagine. I can't even come up with an argument in support of this. So, I mean, if this bill passes in the state of Minnesota, any protester can be sued and have to pay for any, for the policing of that protest.
Yeah, I'm reading it right now too.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and that one is in consideration right now. It is HF 322, and the companion text is SF 679. And that one, I think, it's been making its way through the chain. So, this is something that, like I said, I feel like a lot of, as many of us as possible need to take just a little bit of time and, make calls, send emails, make contact, and just let let them know that this is opposed.
Or just do like Tyler, just go out in the street and protest it because of the.
I have to say too, this is it's slightly off topic, but not really. But I just read this recently I thought this was so fucking weird. So recently at Denver International Airport, there was protesters there, and apparently the airport began enforcing a bunch of rules and like regulations that are very obviously, to dissuade people from protesting there. And their rules and regulations actually make it a violation to display signs bearing the Constitution or political messages. So you literally cannot carry the Constitution and hold it up in the airport. And the U.S. Supreme Court actually backed it, upholds that in this airport because, according to the U.S. Supreme Court, this airport is not a quote-unquote traditional public forum. But still, you can't carry and hold up the U.S. Constitution in a U.S. airport. You guys, this is outrageous. Seriously. Like, I can't even believe this. It's unfathomable.
You might as well just get the Constitution and just throw it out the door because it's, according to our government, it's almost meaningless at this point.
Yeah. So
they would like us all to think it is meaningless.
Yeah.
A couple more states. Oh, sorry.
No,
I just wanted to say a few more states that have anti-protesting laws or bills under consideration right now are Indiana, Colorado, Missouri, Washington State, and I wasn't sure about Michigan. I read in some articles that there was something in Michigan under consideration, but I couldn't actually find any details, so I'm not positive on that. But these ones are, they range in things from, in Indiana, it would be, no, that one is actually pretty messed up. This one is, would essentially allow police to shut down protests by any means necessary. And that's quote, by any means necessary. And it gives authorities 15 minutes to dispatch all available law enforcement officers if there is reports of 10 or more people blocking traffic. So all you need is 10 or more people blocking traffic, and they can shut you down by any means necessary. Shut you down and remove you by any means necessary. So that is under consideration. That's in Indiana. That's another one, again, call, email, do whatever you can. In Colorado and Missouri, Missouri is, it would make it illegal for protesters to conceal their identity. That's, that includes wearing a mask or even just a hood of any kind.
Robes. It's saying even just robes.
Yep, robes. And, and again, the wording is so vague that, I can see them, like, where does it end if you have too much makeup on? It'll just, it just sounds ridiculous. When you read these actual bills, you read the wording, it really is just so ridiculous how vague it is, how open-ended they leave it. And it's clearly intentional. In Colorado, it would significantly increase penalties for certain environmental protesting. And when I say increase penalties, we're talking felony, up to 18 months jail time, and up to $100,000 fine.
What, they're declaring all of that a felony?
Yeah,
what they're considering. No, in Colorado, what they're considering a felony is actually tampering with oil or gas equipment.
But again, the wording is vague. So
in the bill itself.
Yeah, that's the, because at first when I read it, I was like, okay, well, that kind of makes sense, though. I mean, we're talking about tampering, I'm thinking destruction and stuff like that. But when you really read it,
I mean, that could be like putting a sticker on a pipeline.
It's pretty open.
Yeah,
exactly. It's pretty open-ended. Mm-hmm. It's pretty open-ended. In Washington State, the bill in consideration right now there would impose mandatory jail time for any protesters deemed to have caused economic disruption. This could literally mean standing in front of a doorway, or a walkway. Economic disruption, again, is so incredibly vague and open-ended. And what's really interesting too is when I was reading about that one, I came across some articles where people had commented, and I saw a lot of comments from business owners in the area that, we're talking about recent demonstrations, and they were saying, it did not affect their business negatively by any means. Tons of local business owners were commenting and saying that they totally opposed this bill. So that really tells you something, is it really for, because they're trying to say, it's safety and it's for, to protect small business owners and things like that. And yet the people that they're claiming that they're trying to protect and keep safe are also the people opposing it. So the one that I think is most hilarious, and this one I couldn't find yet, so I don't think it's been introduced yet, but a senator in North Carolina has pledged that he will introduce legislation that would criminalize people heckling politicians.
Yes.
So this was in response to people shouting things such as bigot and, they're not swearing, they're not, we're not talking about threats of violence and stuff, but just calling a former governor, calling him names. So Senator Dan Bishop has pledged that he is going to introduce legislation to criminalize the act of calling a politician names or essentially
we have that here in South Wales. You get a $500 fine if you speak profanity to our police. It was introduced.
This isn't profanity, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, even profanity, I think, is a joke. I mean, if you want to tell a policeman to, go get effed, I don't, you shouldn't have to have a fine for that, really. I mean, that's freedom of speech, isn't it? Or not free.
Exactly. And I agree. I completely agree. But the thing that's amazing about this is what he's talking about, the incident that sparked this, it wasn't, we're not talking about death threats. We're not talking about people screaming profanities, anything like that. They were using words such as bigot and shame.
Also, they're trying to stop you from even using polite terms that describe people accurately.
Right. Essentially, it would keep you from basically vocalizing judgments against a politician that you disagree with.
Yeah,
that's not an infringement of free speech or anything.
Yeah. That's the way that they're trying to push for it, aren't they? Basically make it illegal to criticize them. I think that's something Trump would probably like to be able to do, wouldn't he?
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
I think. Love that.
based on his Twitter, yeah, I would.
Dude, that guy should be kicked off of Twitter. He's like too dangerous on there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's another one in Oregon that's being introduced. It's saying that they would require public community colleges and universities to expel any student convicted of participating in a violent riot.
Wow.
So now they're going after your education too.
Yeah, see, and I know, I tried to find as much as I could, but I know that this is not an extensive list, because I saw articles saying, it literally went from, there was articles from late last year, like December, saying, 8 states introducing bills. And then just in the past few months, I saw articles that went from 8 different states introducing these bills to 18. I mean, this is it's blowing up across the country.
Yeah.
I know in Arizona, I think one of our people said it was declared, it didn't pass in Arizona, right?
Yeah, I said that in the beginning here. That was the first one I talked about. It didn't pass, but, that was the one where it didn't pass specifically because so many people called and, expressed their opposition to it.
You have to keep opposing, because I think what it is a natural progression, that the more people are starting to stand up and push back on these people that are making the rules, they're obviously going to, try to stop that. So yeah, a natural progression in my mind. I mean, and like you say, people need to, like, over your end and on our end, call up and speak to them and tell them that we're not going to put up with it, because the apathy is how all these laws get through. We've had so many bad laws passed for our people recently because people are so apathetic and nobody even cares about the laws they're making. They just let them do as they like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I've heard so many people talking about they don't have a problem with free speech zones. You know, that one right there is outlandish and crazy and should.
Free speech zones?
Free speech
that
zone.
sounds paradoxical to me.
Yeah,
right. I thought the whole United States was a free speech zone.
Right? Like, yeah, that's the U.S. Welcome.
You guys are lucky. At least you have it written into your constitution. We never were given free speech because we were a penal colony. It got written into our legislation later on as a token, but you know, it's an interesting thing. You know, all our people, though, you know, we're very Americanized, and we all think, oh, freedom of speech, we have freedom of speech, but that's not really necessarily true at all if people actually take the time to look at government legislation and look at what we're bound to.
Yeah, free speech is a natural right.
Exactly.
It
That's
definitely
right.
should
No one
be.
can take that from.
It should be recognized as such.
You know, and one thing I think people don't, when you get to talking to people about rights, you know, the debate you can end up being in with it. You know, the Constitution was never written to give us rights. The Constitution was written as protection and rules for the government to follow about our natural rights, and those were expressed as natural, inalienable rights.
Right.
It was a very wise thing that they did.
Yeah,
but, people are doing everything they can over there to undermine it and to take it away from you guys. Hey, I mean, yeah.
Well, and you know, and you have, you know, the other side of the argument where people say, you know, like, yeah, okay, you have freedom of speech, but you're not, you know, that doesn't make you free from the consequences of your speech, you know, and that, you know, I don't think that is what these bills are about. Personally, what are your guys' thoughts on that? You know, what would your response be to that argument?
You know, to me personally, I think everybody has the right to say anything they want. You know, I'm a staunch, you know, supporter of free speech. You know, yeah, just like a free and open internet. You know, there should be no. I don't see any limit. You know what I mean? If you can't handle what someone says, you need to just walk away. You know,
yeah,
really,
everyone's entitled to their own opinion, really. You know, whether you agree with it or not, you know, there's plenty that you will and won't agree with, but everybody should be able to feel as though they can speak up and make their opinion heard.
And if you fear, you know, for any reason, something that you might say and having a retaliation, they're just words, you know, then that's not free speech.
Right. It really, I don't know, it really bothers me. You know, I do see a lot of, I see a lot of people who are opposed to these types of bills, but I also see a lot of people who are proponents for them. And they, you know, to them, their argument is that, you know, yeah, yes, you have the right to protest. Yes, you have the right, you know, to free speech, but, you know, these are the consequences if you know, but I think the difficult part of it is that the line between protest and riot has been blurred. And in my opinion, clearly intentionally, so that when you say protest, a lot of the proponents, what they're picturing is violent rioting, and they're for these bills because that's what they're picturing that these bills are targeting. When in reality, these bills are almost all, if not all, are in response to peaceful protest.
Yeah, I would say 100% sure, 100% on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these bills are targeting nonviolent protests, but the image in some people's heads is, you know, riots, is, you know, what the media shows is just this out of control destruction of property and everything. I mean, we're talking about people standing in one place, you know, standing still in a place, you know, blocking a road. You know, to me, to be of the mindset that, oh, if you're going to stand in the road, then I should have the right to hit you with my car, potentially kill you, and not be found guilty of a crime. I can't fathom that mindset. I try to see the other side. I try to understand their argument, but I just can't reconcile that in my head.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it really depends on perspective, doesn't it? I mean, we have a lot of people of this mentality over here as well that they agree with everything that the government says, and they're becoming quite harsh on our immigrants and our less fortunate people, and they're saying, you know, that they don't deserve this and they don't deserve that. Now, these mentalities buy very much into the system, and they think that people that are out there protesting are maybe lazy layabouts that don't have a job, or you know, just want to cause trouble. And honestly, that's what these people think. And then they just sort of basically, they don't think of us as their common man. They don't think of us as, you know, your average worker. I mean, I guess that's what we're here to clarify. But yeah, I mean, when people see people protesting, they think, oh, you're just troublemakers, essentially, I think sometimes.
I mean,
Yeah,
I just can't help but wonder, you know, these people that, because, you know, I know people personally, know people who have the same mentality as you were just talking about, where they think, you know, the protesters are just lazy, jobless, you know, good for nothing, violent rioters, you know, or something like that. You know, but I can't help but think, you know, they don't seem to, like, I always wonder, you know, this is intrinsically about, you know, a freedom of speech, your right to protest, your right to stand up and say, I disagree with this and this isn't right for these reasons, you know, and demonstrate that you are in opposition to it, you know, and that's the bottom line, the fundamental basis of it. And I can't help but wonder, you know, like when these people, you know, if they allow this, if these bills go through and these people are personally being oppressed, you know, and they no longer have that right because they literally voted to forfeit it.
Yeah, that's exactly
You know,
right. We're fighting for
what
them.
are they going to say
We're
then?
fighting for all of these people, and they don't realize that actually, you know, because one day, and I assume it would come for any of them, that one day they're going to be upset about something that's happening to them in society or the system, and maybe they want to speak up about it, but maybe by then it'll be too late, you know, because they didn't stand with the rest of us, you know, and then one day they realized, you know, that maybe, you know, it's worthwhile using your voice, and their voice had been taken away by that stage. You know, this is what I see here. A lot of people fought for rights over here, and they're slowly being eroded again. So it's sort of up to people to keep fighting back.
You know, exactly. I really couldn't have said that any better. You know, the as you said, we're fighting, you know, we're not just fighting for ourselves. And that's what I think is like the big misunderstanding. I think that's where like there's a big gap in understanding between these two oppositional sides, you know, our side and their side, is, you know, they seem to think that this is some kind of selfish, you know, temper tantrum or something, you know, but in reality, we're fighting for, you know, a right, not ourselves, not a specific person, a right.
And it's having the ability
that everybody shares.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, these people have, in my opinion, like I don't like to generalize actually, and I won't, but it seems to me that people that can have these perceptions are very or quite narrow-minded in their viewpoints. They don't see the bigger picture. They don't see sort of, you know, how humanity is sort of rising together at the moment, trying to point out a lot of things going wrong. They just aren't even looking at the big picture. They look at one point. They might think about a news article they saw about one of the protesters smashing a window, and that's all they think about. You know, it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, sorry, I just
So
have to make an announcement. I think our boy from Standing Rock he's going to be on shortly. So.
Oh, fantastic!
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So again, I just wanted to repeat, Tyler. You said we've got the information with the links for people to contact to make contact to express their opposition to these bills available on the page, correct?
Yeah, it's up there on the page. And to you nons out there, don't forget to spam every one of them.
Yeah, make contact as much as you can in every way that you can. I got some links for just some basic contact information for authors and sponsors and supporters of these bills. Any additional contact information you can find for them, great.
Hello?
Sorry,
Yeah.
I had to take a drink. So,
are we moving on to the other topics now, guys, or are we still covering the protesting?
We can go on for that. We can go on for that a little longer, but just my particular view on it is that the fact I think somebody else said this earlier. So I'm monitoring like 3 monitors at the same time and trying to keep up with your conversations. So but yeah, when you see stuff like this, it means that that we need to keep on pushing back even harder. Our boy from Standing Rock was saying last night that especially when we're dealing with one guy said about black bloc tactics, and I'm not going to lean one way or the other. In essence, it's all one form of protest. But what he was saying in particular with peaceful protests is that the government doesn't know how to react properly when you're doing a peaceful protest. They don't. And then you see these fucking weird, silly laws that start coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point.
I would bring up I don't know if you guys saw it was going around that there was a protest somewhere where they were just standing in silence. I just thought that was very powerful. If you imagine a whole load of people just sort of standing somewhere in silence, I'm not sure. Does anyone know where that was? What country?
I saw it too, and I'm desperately trying to remember.
Well, are we talking about those vegan protesters that get the laptops?
Oh,
or
I don't know
else?
if it was. I don't know if it was those guys, but I just thought the methodology behind it was very powerful. Actually, similarly, there were some anons going around, and apologies again. I don't know if they started out in the UK or Australia or US, but they had laptops and they went out in the guise of their masks into major shopping malls and places of the general public, and they stood there with their computers and showed truth on the screens. In this case, it was the slaughterhouses. But I thought, again, very, very powerful, non-violent, non-threatening, just standing there in silence, but presenting the truth, or, making people ask themselves, what are these guys up to,
That's funny. I've kind of had that idea before, just like when I've always had this thing, if I go to a cell phone store, like on all the cell phones and stuff, I'll put different videos up, for people to stumble across when they're messing with the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
YouTube videos, anonymous pages.
That's a good idea.
I mean, that makes me think of the concepts of, because I like to try to wake people up in any way, shape, or form that I can at all times. And I mean, that's planting seeds. I encourage, just while I'm on here, and thank you guys again, while I've got the chance, thank you for inviting me to speak. And I just want to say, anyone out there listening, any anon, please plant seeds everywhere. And like you're saying, if you're going into the phone shop and you want to put a video on something, or you want to, stick a sticker on the wall that says something out in the, everywhere. Just, I don't think that we can underestimate these small messages that you can put out into the ether, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Stamp links on dollar bills and stuff,
Absolutely. All of it. Yeah. Do it all of the above,
Everything.
Because that could go to somebody, and that one thing might spark that person's consciousness enough for them to go and research. And who knows, then you've got another awakened person on your side. So, and I mean, look, I'm saying this not as, well, I am an optimist, but I'm saying it also after, seeing over a fairly long period of time, things go from nothingness to we are gaining traction. The domino effect is happening. So, yeah, I think, just keep planting seeds, it's probably a long way to go, but it helps.
I totally agree, and I like a lot of those ideas. You know, the stamp on a dollar, sticker on a wall, you know, video on a phone in a cell phone shop, whatever. Just those little things.
Yeah.
Yeah, be as clever and creative as you like, and that's what I think as well. You're only limited by your imagination with this stuff. I mean, this is all coming from our hearts, or the majority of us. It means a great deal to us, and you know, we really do want to make a difference for our Earth. You know, during the time that we have here. And yeah, like I don't think you can say that there's anything too small that you can do. And I think I've heard you guys mention that on the show here as well. And that meant a lot to me because, look, you know, we've got people that are doing some amazing, really risky things, you know, getting some very important information, risking a lot. And then we've got people right down to, you know, just somebody trying to, you know, maybe share a link or something like that, or tell a friend. You know, they don't know too much, but they're curious. You know, all of those people should be encouraged, like right across the spectrum.
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one thing I fell in love with the whole anonymous movement when I first, you know, found out about it. Is like, you know, you had the people that were, like you said, putting in all the risks and getting the information, and then you had a network through social medias getting that message out to the people and going to the streets with that information, and it was like just this one, like an alternate machine against the machine that oppresses us, you know. Like,
yeah.
We are in our own self a machine working to get that information out to the general public to educate them and wake them up to it all. And like I said, that was the biggest thing that drew me into the whole ideal of Anonymous.
Exactly. Power of the people, and like none of us are as powerful as all of us. A lot of people forget, they get, you know, this ego issue, you know, but we're nothing without each other. And, you know, we strengthen each other. And, you know, I think I've always stuck to that rule, you know, just be humble and just be thankful to be a part of it. And, you know, I've watched how things develop, and it only encourages me and assures me more that this is something that is meant to happen, you know, and that we must persist with it. You know, it could be going on for many, many more years before we gain some serious traction, but we know it has to happen.
You're right. It might be a couple of years till we get there, or maybe even longer. But I don't know. I always have that hope that it will be tomorrow. Come on, man. Come on. The revolution starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
The revolution starts now.
I mean, I like to remind myself everything that we've all contributed to over the years as well. I mean, we kicked Monsanto right up the pants. You know, Scientology got put in their place. You know, we actually opposed big oil. Okay, yes, they steamrolled us, but we knew that they were going to come at us like with everything that they had for that. But we now know we can continue to oppose big oil. So we have arrived in that aspect there, you know. So I take heart in all of these small wins that we have. You know, I think that even in itself, yeah, we haven't, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, we haven't changed the world in an instant, but I see gradual, progressive change. Do you guys agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I could not agree more. You know, all of those little steps, in my opinion, are evidence of progression, evidence of, you know, slow but steady change.
You know, and I see people want to talk and say, oh, the country's divided and all this and that, but you know, I really do. I see a lot of unity going on. People are uniting together, and you know, most Americans out here only get what they see on the news and stuff, and we know how manipulative the news is, and hell, they just don't even, they focus on so much negative, they never really want to show you the positive. And like, so getting them to show America, you know, the unity is kind of none, but you know, if you get out there and you start looking at everything, you see it, you know.
Well,
and I feel it, you know.
I'm just going to say, TV, mainstream news, I just find it very condescending. I can't watch it anymore.
Neither can I. It's a bunch of bullshit.
I haven't for years.
You know, I try to watch some of the news just because I like to be able to know how to counter what they say, but it's hard.
You know, I was even watching
Yeah.
Al Jazeera, and I couldn't even find I listened to.
It's hard watching the news.
Yeah, I know it's not like your most like alternative news, but I do get a lot of international stuff that does come up. And the funny shit is that in the last week or so, I haven't heard any positive reports on our president coming from that news from that. Oh my God.
Yeah, you're probably not likely to. Although I did like that he said CNN is fake news. That was brilliant. He gets
Oh yeah,
he gets 10 points.
he thinks it's so fucking
me.
fake that he won't even let them come into the press conference.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kicked them out.
Yeah. So not all bad, but
I just wanted to say, on the topic of unity, we're living in a society that for a long time, has really focused on ego, focused on, I, me, my personal possession, and, just very, very egotistical, really, promoting that ego. So in my opinion, even just pushing back, and seeking unity in itself is a resistance. And I'm seeing increasingly more and more people, trying, really putting in effort to, create unity with the people around them, whether it's Anons in a collective or just their, neighborhoods and whatever. I'm really seeing a lot of that, just a lot of people, even people that I know that are, generally have completely opposite views, socio-political views than I do. They are like, yeah, we really need to unite as a country or unite as people, unite whatever. That in itself, I think is evidence of positive change and, and is a resistance in itself.
I really hope that is the revolution of consciousness, that is like maybe hopefully a global effect of the petri dish of the internet and all these wonderful people that are like giving us all this truth now. I mean, because when I was working in Sydney and I was sort of a sheath and I was distracted and I did not know any of this stuff. I mean, I had a bit of spiritual knowledge in my past, but didn't know. As soon as I wasn't distracted and I was able to pull myself away from all of that crap and focus, I was able to take in the knowledge. So we just, need more people to do that. And the people that are, bringing us this knowledge, I mean, I can't say how much I respect them for that.
Absolutely.
So someone was coming on from No Dakota Access Pipeline shortly. Is that right, guys?
I'm seeing what he said. Let me see. Okay. Let me see. Arthur's coming on in a second. Let me see what the other guys. He said, "Are you on?" He said, "I'm not sure if I will make it driving back home. 45 minutes or so before I can get on. Let me see. So that was like 20 minutes ago. So we'll see. I don't think he's at Standing Rock right now, so I'm not sure where he is. But he should be here shortly. And he was sorry, I shouldn't say he, but some of the people that have disbanded have gone on to cyber campaigns right now.
Good.
And that was another topic. I'm not sure if we're gonna get any feedback here, but street ops. I think me and Jody were talking about, or was it Lils? Was street ops versus cyber ops, or a combination of both would be better.
Yes. A combination of both, definitely.
Yeah. You guys, any input?
I mean, we got to hit, like, when it comes to the Federal Reserve, I mean, we got to, like, just hit them with everything we got, really.
You mean like?
Oh yeah.
You mean like a hypothetical illegal attack on the Federal Reserve?
Hypothetical.
Just whatever it takes, man.
I mean, I think a combination of both, is the most logical way to go. In my opinion.
The one is a form of protest.
Right.
Well, yes,
It
yes.
really shouldn't
Distributed
be
denial.
illegal.
Yeah, distributed denial of service attacks are 100% completely legal in Germany. They are a form of online protests.
Right. Yeah, because you're not hacking them. You're not trying to obtain information. You're just filling their pipeline up. Too many requests. For it to be illegal is stupid.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
I don't.
telling me.
Either.
I mean,
Yeah. That's another one that just makes no sense to me. How I can't make that jump. How could that be considered illegal?
well, yeah, how much is a DDoS? You get caught DDoSing. I wonder how long the lengthy the sentence is here at State Bound. It's years, right?
I don't know.
I'm not even sure. I'd have to look it up.
Hey guys, I'm going to have to jump off for a bit. I hope that I'll be able to come back and catch towards the end. I've really enjoyed discussing things on here so far. But yeah, I've just unfortunately have to run for about maybe 40 minutes. So.
Okay, so we have another subject. Okies, can you jump on?
I'm on.
Hey, so fill us in. Arthur was going to talk about this for a little bit. You guys are more on the ins about what's going on. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So this was on. Oh, you were suggesting that topic, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I think Arthur. I mean, if you know anything about it, you can bring it up. You want to bring it on now?
About the pedals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I guess I'll wait till Arthur gets back on.
Wanna elaborate or?
I don't know what Arthur.
It was like epic response.
We do have a lot of guys.
all over.
What's going on? No, I was gonna say we do have a lot of guys out there that are out there hunting, even as we speak. But I've been offered so many times to get involved. It's just like I am so busy with everything else,
Everybody's got their thing that they focus on, I think that's how we work well, in Anonymous. Everybody kind of has their passions and things as well. They're kind of individual, but as well as a unit. So, yeah. Like I say, there's some people doing some pretty hardcore stuff. So it's good to see.
Yeah, they're all over. Posting all over Kick and everything.
Did we just lose somebody?
I don't think so.
In and out a bit.
He's breaking up.
Okies?
Yeah.
Oh, you're there? Oh, you're breaking up a little bit. I can hear you better. Okay, what was another subject that we were going to talk about?
Oh, shit.
I don't know, what do you guys want to talk about right now?
Honestly, the anti-protest bill stuff was pretty much all I had. That's sort of what I spent my day on.
I have topics that I could bring up, guys, but I have to. It really sucks, I know, but unfortunately, I have to run. I apologise for that because it was last minute. I sort of didn't realise I had some obligations, but I can think of quite a few topics that I'd like to discuss. So if I don't make it back, I really would like to come and chat again if possible.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great. It was great having you.
Thanks very much, guys. I really appreciate that, and I do apologise having to run off like this. It's just outside obligations, but yeah. Next time I'm on board with it, I'll make sure that I'm around for the whole show.
Okay. It's like morning where you're at right now, right?
Well, it's actually afternoon, and my partner, I actually need to go and pick him up. So yeah, it's just one of those things. I'll be letting down. Yeah, I've just got an obligation to let someone down, and I only sort of found out that I was going to come on this show through the middle of the day, so he wasn't aware. So yeah, again, apologies, guys, because normally I'll make sure that I'm freely available for the whole discussion.
You are quite all right.
Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Thanks very much, guys. Yeah, no, it was a really good talk to you, and yeah, I look forward to hopefully chatting again soon. If I make it back in time, I'll jump back in.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks, guys. All the
take
best.
care.
One love, family.
Okay.
Any word on when Arthur will be able to jump on?
I don't know. He said he's home now.
Well, one thing I'd like to say is anyone out there listening, watching this, whatever, the Facebook page, Nationwide March Against the Federal Reserve. I need people in other cities with the Federal Reserves in their areas. You can go to that Facebook page. I got a whole list of the cities and locations, addresses, phone numbers of the Federal Reserve branches and banks. So I need people to help start organizing in their local areas. I can't do it all. Me and the other guy we kind of started this, we need help. Just go on the Nationwide March Against to End the Federal Reserve's page, message, post, whatever. We need all the help we can get.
Sweet. You might have to hit me up after the show.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but you guys still don't have like a date or anything like that yet?
No, because I don't want to set a date until I know we can get, the people out there. And I know you can't really get any kind of impactful thing unless you got people in each city because, it's spread out all across the country. So I'm waiting till we can get people together, show interest, and then maybe we can come together as a group and decide on a date. So, it's been difficult to try and get people in other places to help and like I said, organize in their local area. Because like here in Dallas, we're making flyers and stuff. We're going to go out to some other protests, like some of the immigration protests that are going on, a few other ones in the area here in Dallas. And then we're going to go out to all the colleges, different places that we can meet people that I think, will listen to us and hopefully show up. And sometimes, that's what it takes to get a good sized protest. Anything that's gonna, I want to try and strike some fear into them, like, oh shit, there's.
You mean like Occupy Wall Street? Instead of
Right, yeah, Occupy the Fed, So,
you see that Rothschild run down the street.
Right.
Maybe we can appeal to anybody out there listening, watching, to not only visit that page, but maybe share it too. Try and get the word out.
Yeah. I've been trying to get out on so many different types of, YouTube and some of the other places, other social media sites and stuff, try and get it spread out. I'm gonna try and make a website so we can, have something besides just like a Facebook page,
You mean like an outside link that they can't block?
Yeah, exactly. But it's so that's why there's no date, and like I state that in the page too. I made a post talking about there's no date set until there's more awareness of it, because it's going to take numbers to make any kind of impactful statement.
Yeah.
And we got to have enough people too that you don't have to just get out and protest. You got to call your senators. You got to call your representatives, put the pressure on them. Because, I mean, to end the Federal Reserve, it would take two things. Revoke the Federal Reserve Act of 1913, and the president signs it. All of a sudden, the Federal Reserve's gone. Going straight at the Federal Reserve, doesn't do much because they don't answer to nobody. They don't answer to Congress or the president. No one has authority over them.
But we can still
do have
shake
the
them up a
ability.
bit.
Do what? Yeah, exactly. I mean, I want to strike fear in their, in their eyes, and I mean, in some way, I don't want to make it easy. So, but it's going to take numbers, and like, there's 24 of them all across the country and different cities, but they're all in major cities.
Do you have any ideas as to why people might not be jumping on board?
I kind of sometimes get it when I talk to people about it. They're like, "Oh, that one's just too big. They're not going to listen to us."
Okay, so it's an intimidation thing.
Yeah, and it is, and I think sometimes people get a little scared thinking about that,
Well, I wonder if people are scared too, well, what will happen to my daily way of life if the Federal Reserve is gone? I wonder if that is a question in people's minds.
Yeah, I've heard that kind of thing, and people talking about, oh, that would collapse the global economy, and it's like, look, guys, the global economy is going to collapse anyways. The Federal Reserve is unsustainable. I mean, it takes infinite growth for the Federal Reserve System, the fractional reserve system, to even operate, and we don't live in an infinite growth society. I mean, it's impossible. We're 1 interest rate away, 1 point interest rate away from a fucking another 2008, 7-8.
Are we at the dollar is supposed? I've been hearing this for like the last 10 months, maybe even a little longer, that the U.S. dollar is supposed to collapse on itself. You've been hearing about that too?
Oh yeah, I mean, for years I've been hearing it because it's going to. The Federal Reserve, for one, they're not federal. They're no federal government. They have no reserves, so the entire name is a fallacy. They have no gold. They have no silver. The only thing they have is the petrodollar. Around the world, the oil can only be sold in U.S. dollars, and then the belief by people that the dollar is worth something. That's all they have. That's it.
So it sounds to me like, in order to bolster your numbers and get people to jump on this bandwagon, the first thing that you'd have to do is essentially reverse their view of what the Federal Reserve means for them.
Right. Yeah, because if we was to just say, do exactly that, revoke the Federal Reserve Act, and the president sign it, and all of a sudden overnight,
then he's going to get bullet in his head just like Kennedy.
Yeah, right. But I mean, and you would then turn it back over to the United States government to print their own money and have it backed by gold and silver. It would instantly. I mean, your dollar would have, once they got the new dollar in, like the government dollar, backed by an actual tangible resource. I mean, once you got those dollars in your hand and the Federal Reserve notes were all gone, I mean, you'd have so much purchasing power with that.
Oh yeah, but we'd also eliminate the IRS as well. Bye-bye.
Exactly.
Bye-bye IRS.
Right.
No more yearly taxes. No more
because
taking my shit.
Anyone out there listening right now, the IRS is part of the Federal Reserve. I mean, they're not exactly the same people, but they are the same group of people that run the IRS, run the freaking Federal Reserve. Your tax dollars, that comes out of your federal taxes, goes straight to the Federal Reserve. It doesn't go to roads. It doesn't go to bullshit. It goes straight to the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, it goes back on the interest that your government had loaned from the Federal Reserve.
So let me ask you, do you currently have, I haven't seen the page that you mentioned. I haven't been there myself. And I will check it out as soon as I can, but obviously since I'm on here, I can't really do that right now. But do you have any videos, preferably videos or anything that just sort of quickly, succinctly explain these points?
Yeah, on the page I've got a few of them, yes.
Okay.
I have full documentaries if you want to get into the details of it, and then I've got like short 3 and 7 minute videos that explains it real quick,
Yeah, I mean, I'm a documentary person, but I know, when you're trying to spread a message of something, most people don't watch much past, a minute or a couple minutes, especially on social media.
Yeah, that's why I've linked up the a few of the quick videos on there.
Oh, that like the 3-minute one that I was looping from the School of Shock.
Yeah, and I'm going to put a link in the chat, the Facebook chat, live chat. So I just put it in there.
In that video they were saying, even I've heard of this from a few conspiracy nuts, is that if the dollar collapses, that they've already have a plan for that as well, to like bring in like the Amero or some weird fucking currency.
Yes.
Like it was all designed on purpose. Like, and this isn't like it's like, and I've heard this from like several people.
So again, I would appeal to anybody that's listening, watching, to visit that page. What's the page again?
It's the actual link for it is I'm not going to tell you the link, but it's called the Nationwide March to End the Federal Reserve. If you go into the chat, I just posted a link for it.
Okay, so if people listening though, if they go to that page, then there will be links for videos and stuff. So I guess we would just encourage people to go and visit that page, share it, maybe share links of those videos to try and bolster those numbers and get people out there, get people on board.
Yeah, share them to pages, share them to groups, share them on your timelines. Do anything you can to get it out there. We really need help to get this going across the country.
Yeah, somebody was saying in the chat or on the stream that Canada and Mexico bail us out. Now, Canada is another country, is in the same situation. They have a centralized banking system just like us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, pretty much all of them do, because like here in the United States, we got the Federal Reserve, and around the world, it's the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, and then you've also got the World Bank, and they're all Rothschild dynasty banking. And then you've also got one most people's never heard of, a friend of mine, Alvin, the guy that's helping me get this protest going. It's the International Bank of, oh God, what is it? It's the IBA, or God, I can't think of it right at the moment. There's another one that's like
the Bank of the Bank of England or the Bank of London is another one, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. That was pretty much like the original one.
Yeah.
So I think, what I think the fear that I would come across if I was out there, I'm just trying to kind of put myself in that position. If I was trying to, recruit people for this, I'm trying to think of questions that I would get, and if people say, well, what about all the programs that are federally funded?
Sorry, what's going on?
Well, then it's just replaced by U.S. government minted money. It doesn't change any of that. I mean, it's just we end the interest. We don't need a middleman. We can print our own money.
Hey, Chris.
We can back it by a tangible resource.
So do you think it's just the abstract concept that, because people have, we're born into a system that works this way and this is all they know? Is it just the fear of the unknown or the fear of, I'm trying to think of like why.
Oh yeah, it's the fear of the unknown, and then Not only that, you know, when we have economic crisis in, you know, here state bound, you will get people out of nowhere saying the sky will fall, and that, you know, that everything will start, you know, crashing tomorrow. They did this back in 2008 when they bailed out all the fucking banks.
Yeah, and there was like that one. I don't know if he was a senator or if he was a representative, but they were talking about if you don't do these bailouts, there'll be martial law in the streets tomorrow.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. These guys don't play. These guys, and remember the Lehman Brothers? They didn't even pay back their loans, did they?
No.
Yeah, when the Fed was out, it was a lot of money. It was like 9 or 16 billion, something like that. Or more.
Well, the Fed during the bailouts, it ended up being a total of $16 trillion.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of that is suspected to have went to foreign countries, like foreign banks, which is illegal. You know, that's against the rules that were put in place for the Federal Reserve Act.
You know, they have never been audited once, have they?
No, never. Not in the history of the Federal Reserve. They don't have to because they're not answerable to Congress or the president.
But people have proposed that they should be audited many times.
No, they should just be abolished. I mean, if you can't control them, if you have no authority over them, what is auditing going to do? Oh, I see what you're doing now, but I still can't do anything about
it.
I'm just going to observe it happening. And yeah, it's kind of amazing to me how, you know, the general public can be so concerned about individual responsibility for sometimes the silliest things. But then, you know, you have something as huge as the Federal Reserve, and there's not a whole lot of people, you know, throwing up their arms and demanding that they be held accountable for anything. You know, like, it's weird. It's weird that it's not a bigger issue.
Well, when you're dealing with economics and money, it's almost a little too complicated. Kind of designed that way on purpose for the average Joe. But in actuality, it's really not that difficult at all. You know,
But if anything affects us all in an equal way, it would be, you know, money.
Yeah, the Federal Reserve.
It would be our economic, yeah. So again, it's just sort of interesting to me that it's not, you know, a bigger issue, that it's not, you know, that people are more focused on these little things and Grammy Awards and shit like that. You know,
Right.
it's bizarre to me.
You're like, oh shit, the IRS is taking away my home because the government takes loans from the Federal Reserve. You're like,
Who the fuck is gonna win? Who the fuck is gonna win this award? Because I really liked that one movie.
oh yeah, and Tyler's almost there. I swear to God, if I link out one more time, I swear to God, I'm gonna get one of those letters saying that you are going to prison if you don't pay the IRS. Didn't we hear in the United States abolished, like it was in 1890, there was debtor's court was abolished, but the IRS is the only institution that can imprison you for not paying a debt and from an institute. And is the IRS is tied to the government, but where the money goes isn't. But you think that a law that had abolished debtor's court would abolish not paying the IRS, but it doesn't go that way.
Nope.
So essentially, I don't know.
Yeah, that's weird when you put it that way. I hadn't really thought of it that way, but now that you mention it, I'm like, whoa, what the fuck?
You will go to jail if you do not pay the IRS. Now, what they will try and do first is they will garnish your wages, and then it keeps on going even further. Then they'll take away your assets, and they can go even further and put you in prison. Now, there was a bounty hunter that I was watching on this one show. He decided to fight it and just told them just arrest his ass and put him in prison.
So what happened? Did he go to prison?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, fuck.
Well, they were off. They wanted like $400,000 from the guy. He's like, dude, I'm gonna lose my business. Just fucking send me to prison.
I was done jail time.
Oh yeah, doesn't the courts will send. Well, I'm getting some bad echo.
I didn't catch that. The courts what?
Yeah.
Don't the courts, if you don't pay your fines, also threaten to imprison you if you don't pay the fines?
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I know, yeah. And I know like they can garnish, well, I don't know if they can garnish your wages, but I know certain fines or whatever, they can take it from tax returns.
It goes
They
to
can
collection.
take like at least like probationary fees, for example.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know for sure those can be intercepted from your state tax, and they can take it straight out of there.
I remember I
I'm
got
not sure
into a dispute with like one of my probation officers because I told her that because I had gotten like a major felony in my early 20s that kind of like deterred me from like getting any good job. And then so I kept on getting these letters, from the probation department that saying that I that if I didn't pay it, that they're gonna send me back to jail. And then I talked to the financial officer, and she's like, "Oh, we can just reduce your payments." And I'm just like, "You don't get it. I can't pay you at all. I have no income."
So you're not gonna get your money if I'm still got off probation.
Go ahead.
I owe $250,000 in restitution fees, and they still let me off probation.
What the fuck? How'd you manage that?
I don't know. I just never paid them. They got so they let me off probation.
Crazy.
What did you do? Get a car and run through a house?
Nah, a lot of my charges are just violations, probation violations. But my main charge was I think receiving stolen property or possession. It was one of those.
I gotcha. Yeah, I don't think any of my cases ended up in restitution because they were all like substance related and stuff like that. But still, those they were at first like when I was on probation, those fees were like what they start you at like $1.50 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets ridiculous. You're like, oh, not only did I do my time,
but I never paid it.
and you're like, I got a felony now, but now I cannot pay you, and I gotta do.
I see nothing from me.
So with all that money that you hadn't paid in restitution, though, have they ever intercepted your taxes or tried to garnish wages or anything? Or
Child support takes that shit.
That's a serious one too, though.
Yeah.
Oh, you're cutting out really bad.
Okies? Okies. Maybe there you are.
I thought my phone's fucking up again. No, but it should be cool not paying that shit.
Oh, this one guy on our feed is saying that he went to jail for breaking into his own, I think, house. Am I right?
What?
Breaking into his own house.
How is that even? How do you break into your own? I mean, I've locked myself out and had to climb in a window or something, but how are you breaking into your own home? You're just entering it, aren't you?
I can think of a couple of situations where you would technically be violating a further court order.
Restraining order.
Yep. They don't fuck
Oh,
around.
a restraining order?
Yep.
Was that the case?
I don't know. He's not saying nothing, but not yet. But yeah, some of those restraining orders, especially in the state that I live in, the laws are pretty strict when it comes to that, and it even applies to electronic contact.
Oh yeah.
And check this shit out. So let's say you got a restraining order, right? And you and your ex were still talking, right? You send them a text message saying, whatever. You have just violated that court order, and not only that, you will do jail time, and that will be another.
Oh, it's not even just that, actually. If you, you can't contact them in any way, shape, or form. You can't even contact through a third party. So if you contacted your ex's friend, and at any point, said, tell my ex this or anything like that, that's a violation. If it's not a mutual friend, it's a violation just to contact that friend.
Well, I mean, I understand, where the laws are coming from, but the way that they get enforced, especially with domestic cases, especially when information has to be, exchanged back and forth, and there are kids involved in this and that, they almost make it to the point where like it's unreasonable. you have to get an attorney, or you have to go down, you have to get a sheriff to, every time you guys need to, transfer the kids. I don't know.
Well, in most areas, I mean, I guess I can't say all areas because I don't know for sure, but I know that in most cases, if the two parties share children and they have to, exchange for visitation, then they meet in a mutually agreed upon area, public area, whether it's at a police department like parking lot or whatever, and then they can have contact during that exchange, but and you're not violating the restraining order as long as you only talk about, the kids, the exchange, and don't ask any personal questions. I mean, I suppose I'm sure you can, when a person gets a restraining order, they can specify how they want to go about it. But I think by default, usually, you can still do the exchange and everything, but you do a public meeting and stuff like that. I mean, it does get, I can see where it would get really difficult though. How do you know when you're going to cross the line? And I mean, if I had a restraining order against me, and I was in that situation, I would definitely always want to have a witness just in case.
That's when you just, when you have a restraining order against you, you'd be like, that's when I change my number and get rid of my Facebook.
Well, I'm talking about in cases when you share a child, though. You can't just like go ghost. I mean, yeah, if you don't share a child, then I would just say, like if they filed a restraining order against you, just move the fuck on. I wouldn't keep beating that dead fucking horse. But if you share children, then you have to figure out some way to make it work. But me personally, if I had a restraining order against me and we're still doing the exchanges, I would definitely always want to have a witness just in case.
Exactly. Okay, we had another topic that our guest wanted to talk about, but she's gonna be our regular. Was peaceful resistance, or no, we already talked about that. Was sustainable living, and I believe that ties into like renewable energy and stuff like that. And I was listening to, I don't know, it was like this one market in it was like this one section of Yugoslavia, and they have developed a way to feed the community. And the whole point of like stuff we have talked about before and stuff like that, having like a basically the market was designed to fuck the system, not pay taxes, and give it directly back to the community.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was gosh, I'm trying to remember where the heck this was, but I saw something similar. These sustainable communities that were being built. I can't remember where it was, but it sounded really, really cool, and it was. It sounds like it was very similar in that it was set up that everything is, everything goes back into the community, and it sounded wicked, wicked cool, but I can't remember where it was. I want to say like Denmark or something like that, but I can't recall for sure. And that's something I would really, really love to see more and more of those, building up around everywhere, really. So I think, what are some ways we can't all just, magically build a self-sustaining community tomorrow necessarily.
That would have to. It would have to start with the farmers, and we'd have to have, you might need some money on the backup to start that.
Oh yeah, I would think so. But I think it's important to also talk about, to think about and talk about small steps, little ways that each person can do that independently for themselves and their own families. Just small steps, even if it's just planting a small garden, to reduce the amount of produce that they have to go and buy at a store.
Hey, fam.
Hey.
Hi.
How's it going this evening?
Pretty good. We missed you.
Well, I wanted to jump on real quick. I want to give a shout out to Chris. He's in the thread right now. Hello, Chris. This is me talking. He keeps going, is that you? Is that you? I wanted to touch base about last time I was on about Arizona SB 1142, about them trying to take over our rights to protest. It actually failed to pass the Senate, woot, woot, which is huge for us here in Arizona, which means they can't catch us on RICO violations for creating events, which gives us our First Amendment right back.
Yeah, that's excellent. We actually, we had touched on that in the beginning of the show, but it's really great to hear from somebody that's in the area. And I know that I had read that it was that the bill was killed as a direct result from all of the people that called and expressed their opposition to that. Did you hear or read that as well?
I did. I know here locally in Arizona and on the West Coast, a group of us actually came together. We put together a list of contact numbers for different government organizations, phone numbers here locally, from the clerk's office to anything we can basically get in the Supreme Court side. And if that helped, I'm really, really grateful. The media here, as much as I hate the media, they showed a lot of interest and concern with it this time, which we know how much we can rely on them. But I think that also helped because it got out to a lot more people quicker than what social media could have offered us. So I'm excited. I mean, taking away your right to protest in the state you live in, we already live in a red state with open carry and we're fighting the system. This would have just made it a lot harder on us.
Yeah, I was really, really, really glad to find out that did not pass. I know, earlier we had talked also about there is, Arizona was one of the states, that had a bill like this. There's states popping up, it seems almost, like every week or something, another state is either talking about or is introducing a bill that is essentially an anti-protest bill. And I know we have up on the page somewhere, there is a list of states, bills that are, that are being considered right now, with some links for contact and everything for people to contact and make happen in their states what just,
Perfect.
The victory that just happened in your state.
Yeah, and there's a lot of really silly laws. I mean, you'll see things like, I hate to be graphic, but no censorship here. You've got states that, probably 16 states, that allow sex with animals, which is completely disgusting and horrible. You can have laws like this pass. Why are they anti-protesting laws? Like, seriously, it kind of, to me, seems ass backwards. Why wouldn't they be fighting for stuff like this? You know what I mean? Like, it's just
Absolutely.
ridiculous. Their focus is not in the right places. You know what I mean? I just want to see more things for humanity done, and taking away that right would have really hurt us. Because again, in Arizona, we're a lot like Florida. We can't even feed the homeless here without it being illegal. So moving forward, there's bigger fights for us to focus on now that we don't have to worry about this.
That's excellent. And yeah, like I said, I'm really hoping that as these bills are in consideration, as these bills are introduced in other states, that there is, a large show of opposition, people making those calls and everything, just like they did for Arizona, and these other bills, are getting rejected. That's my hope anyway.
Yeah, these bills are passing, 'cause, again, Trump's passing them so quick, our heads are spinning. So if we find them and something like this happens, we need to make sure that we communicate with the rest of social media so they know what's going on, so we're able to fight these silly laws that are passing. Because, again, I mean, we have bigger things to fight. I want to see marijuana legalization pass, and Trump right now is working on keeping it criminalized and taking away the states that have the recreation use. And it's disgusting if you think about how many people are using this as a form of treatment to stay away from big pharma. I mean, it's just ridiculous. The medications that they're feeding people are 10 times worse than anything that you could do with marijuana. I mean, you could take 50 edibles and I don't think you'd have as many issues as pharmaceutical pills these days.
They also, we were talking about that yesterday, or 2 days ago. We went when the whole thing crashed, or before we crashed. That in December, the DEA classified CBD oil, which is really good for a really good alternative to receive it, to give it to your kids for the type of seizures that have those seizures, grand mal seizures.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I've been hearing reports from here and there that it's also a natural cure for cancer.
Well, I myself, I got to tell you a little bit about my story. 2 years ago, I got endometriosis and I got really sick and I wound up getting a cancerous tumor. And this time around, about 6 months ago, I had something similar happen. And I actually 1 month ago started a THC concentrate treatment for 1 month. And the tumor disappeared. So I myself have experienced the changes that it can help people. And I've seen the videos, but to actually be one of those people that can say it happened to me is profound. It's huge. To me, it looked like a miracle. I mean, but I have another friend who's hit me up today in PM, and she actually lives locally, and she was told she has cancer cells, and she's in her mid-20s. And I actually got to tell her, this is what I used, this is where I went. I'm not saying it's going to work for everybody, but this is hope. You know what I mean? And it's that hope that keeps people going, Once these tests are done and all the treatment is released and all the evaluations and everything, we'll actually be able to see, which ones are working, which plant or which strain works better, you know what I mean? Because right now we just know THC or this and the pot works. We need to know exactly specifically what works. And if the government can grant us the use for recreation, more doctors will be involved, more federal grants. And these are the things that we need to help that treatment.
And speaking of medicinal marijuana and everything, as everybody who's listening and everything, as you're going and you're rallying for this in your states and everything, consider also looking into and getting behind health freedom legislation for each of your respective states as well. If you're not familiar with it, health freedom legislation would just simply open up, make it more attainable for people to seek complementary and alternative medicine practitioners and treatments. right now, some states, depending on the state, it can be incredibly difficult for people to practice alternative and complementary medicines. It can be really difficult for people to seek that out, and in some cases, completely illegal. So,
yeah, and
health freedom legislation kind of goes
the
hand
last
in
few days.
hand.
I've seen some posts the last few days about people wanting to see in the future health insurance provide medical marijuana for patients. And I think that's amazing. I mean, there's so many people that need medical marijuana for treatment. And the price now that it's legalizing, I mean, you have the street prices and you have the Medi-Shop prices, and it's still very unaffordable for people. You have Vietnam vets like my father, veteran of 3 wars. He has PTSD, had major surgeries, disabled vet who can't afford, edibles because he doesn't want to smoke, and these kind of things need to be more affordable to everybody, whether it be a single mom with a child with epilepsy or somebody that has fibromyalgia. If it's something that's going to help you and treat you, it shouldn't be denied.
Right, exactly. And and this is what health freedom legislation is about, is making us able, you as the person, able to make choices about what type of healthcare that you choose, what type of treatment that you choose, and making it more attainable for everybody. So medical marijuana is sort of underneath that, umbrella, but it would also make it more attainable for you to, like, for example, ginger is an incredibly effective treatment for joint pain. A lot of people don't know that, but it's actually been extensively studied since at least the 80s, and is an incredible effective treatment for joint pain. So this is something that with health freedom legislation, it's possible that it could be a step in the direction of also being able to have your insurance cover, some form of ginger based treatment for things like rheumatoid arthritis, for example.
And I know as of recent, I've heard a lot of women talk about gout, which is another pain, arthritic pain in the feet and different limbs. And cherry juice is actually very, very effective for it, but it's not something widely known. And these are the things that a holistic doctor, if it was able to be covered by your insurance, would be something more readily available. Somebody like me that's had multiple surgeries, you want the option of different treatments, not just the chop me up and send me out kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Well, with health freedom legislation also, it helps, those holistic practitioners, depending on the state and everything, sometimes they can't get the type of liability insurance that they're backed, in case, I don't know, somebody doesn't follow directions. Also, they're bound because a lot of times they actually can't diagnose. They can't specifically treat, so they have to only, quote unquote, educate. So it makes it very difficult to help people because of the way that the laws are written in most states. So health freedom legislation would allow people to be able to go to holistic practitioners and be able to actually get specific information instead of just very vague education.
And sis, can you post some stuff like that on the page too, so anybody listening tonight can learn about the legislative that you're talking about? Because again, this is something that we can share to our pages, to our friends. I know adminning the HempSec pages on the West Coast, if I see things that are shared, things like we mentioned the ginger working for this, these are the things that people want to know about. And maybe sometimes, you Google random things, what helps my stomach ache, or what holistic approach can I do to do this? If more of that stuff was shared, if there's healthier alternatives that we can share with other people that may not know.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I'll get some information to you guys.
Perfect. And that's pretty much all I have for tonight. Thank you guys. I just want to stop on real quick. My phone's dying.
Okay.
But great show, guys. Great show. And have a wonderful evening, and I'll be on next time.
Nice hearing from you.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.
And I see Arthur's here.
Yeah, I made it. Sorry, fashionably late.
but I'm here.
I know, just getting on the weird side about natural cures, and I was talking about this to one of our guys, is that I have a really, you're aware of my condition, and I got really kind of finicky about how modern medicine was treating my condition, with these medications that have like these really weird side effects, and I was actually going to like natural cures, and I met this guy, and he told me that he was sort of like a shamanist, a guy, he says that all of the cures that we need and all the medicines that we need are around us.
The natural herbal kind that we've been using for hundreds of thousands of years.
Oh yeah,
These big pharma medications they have, it's going to help you with your one symptom that you have, but it's going to give you 50 new symptoms in that one's place.
Oh
and
yeah.
most
Go ahead.
Most of it's just trial, Who knows what that's going to do to you in the long term or in the long run.
Oh, you telling me like that their best solution to my condition was to put me on high doses of antidepressants and pregabalin, and I to be honest with you, and I wasn't the only one reporting this side effect from pregabalin, was Alzheimer-like symptoms. And then I'm off the medication for almost 2 years, and I'm still feeling the side effects.
Yeah, it's all bad. The big pharma, it's all about money. If they can get you hooked to something to get you into another medication, by the time you're done, you'll be taking 20 different medications.
Yeah. And 10 of them will be for the other 10 freaking pills.
Exactly. Stuff that they gave you in the first place.
Oh yeah, pregabalin is, if you study it, it's a very dangerous medication. What it does is it blocks what's called substance P, which they believe is in the pain receptor, right? But you're blocking it off at the source. It's not hitting the endorphin system. It kind of acts more on the GABA side, but it's a little more intense, right? But they're also finding that these neuroreceptors are also essential for normal feeling function and thinking. And when you suppress that, it's also doing damage.
So there's that. So maybe it's not such a great idea to fucking take this medication.
Well, and for my condition, that was the best solution. And I'm like, this is what modern medicine's best solution for my diagnosis.
What is it? Gabapentin?
No, pregabalin. It's a little
okay.
different.
Okay.
And it was originally here's the thing is that when Obamacare, or you want to call it covered care, or you want to call it healthcare.gov,
whatever BS it is.
Yeah, a lot of these companies were saying that they were going to support the medication last year. And then as soon as I found this out the hard way, they said that they were not going to cover it. So Pfizer's best thing is that they were giving you a discount, right, on an $800 medication, but their discount was only $150 up to $300. So you're like, so I have to pay $500 a month to take a fucking pill.
That's fucked up.
Speaking of incredible prices, I won't get into detail about the name of the medication or anything, but I have a friend who has a very rare condition, and there's a medication that he has to take. It's the only approved medication for this condition, specifically for the treatment of this condition, and it is $14,000 a month.
Jesus.
Are you talking about oncology medication, or is it MS? Those are really expensive.
No, I'd rather not say what it's for. Because,
but what is the drug, maybe? Oh, I guess no, that would probably give it away too.
Yeah, I just want to respect, I'm talking about somebody else's,
right.
stuff.
Confidentiality.
Details, but it is outrageous, unbelievable, and it's the only treatment, pharmaceutical treatment, specifically for this condition.
Oh, you even want to talk about some real mind fuck. Now, there was an HIV medication, and not too long ago, I believe this was last year, a company bought an old patent to try and corner the market, and was originally it was only like $70 a month, and it's not like the main medication you would take for HIV, but it's like a secondary or a booster in the cocktail. But now they have a lot of them in one pill. But when they took over this patent, it jumped the medication to like $700 a month.
Yeah, that's actually similar to this one that I was just talking about, in that it is a derivative of a substance that used to actually be available over the counter. It's incredibly high risk, incredibly potentially dangerous. It was outlawed and banned. This one company kind of made a derivative of it, and then cornered the market. They're the only ones that create this, and
I know what medication you're talking about. Yeah, I do.
I had a feeling you would pick up on it, Tyler.
Yeah.
So it originally, I know they had to push really hard to even get it approved, but once they did, the price just kept climbing and climbing and climbing, and now it was actually just yesterday that he said that right now he's at an average of approximately $14,000 a month for this.
Wow.
You can tell your friend there is a over the counter similar medication, and it's not quite as effective. Tell him if you can still find a vendor for it. It's called Phenibut. It's very similar.
Phenibut?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's similar, but it's you got to be careful with the dosages, though, because too much and you're going to end up with the same kind of symptoms as you would the street version when it was illegal.
Yeah, see, because I know this one too, you have to be incredibly careful with the dosages. You have to titrate up extremely carefully, or if it's just a little bit too much, it will just kill you.
Yeah, and the problem with Phenibut is when you get too high on the dosages, you get what's known as IBS, and that's not a withdrawal syndrome. That is actually during the taking of the medication. It's I don't know. I never took it for any kind of real kind of cure. I was just getting fucking high off of it. But yeah, that's the literal truth.
Is it?
But
is it like a pain medication or?
No, it's more like a GABA-like drug, like diazepam.
Another GABA. Okay.
Yeah, like diazepam and phenobarbital. But it's very similar to gamma hydroxybutyrate.
Yeah. Okay, I got you. Yeah, we're on the same page here. Yeah, you definitely know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I will definitely have to let him know about that. I was not aware of that.
Oh yeah, it's like he has to start in the 100 milligram range, because some people are very sensitive to that if they even have it legally available. But then don't do it where I was doing it, so pushing it up to the gram range.
Horrible.
I have
Poor guy.
a really funny story where I have this funny story with my ex-wife, and this is I'm almost positive this is one of the reasons her and the family told me you need to leave. So I managed to this was the second time this happened on that medication, because you don't know when it's going to hit you. So I'm going to the bathroom, and then the next thing I know, my head is getting bashed in. And,
oh God.
Yeah, and they were busting in the door because they thought I had died or OD'd or something.
Gosh.
Yeah,
so you got to
that's
be
hard.
careful with it, because I was pushing it to the limit.
Wow.
I don't necessarily remember the medication. It's nothing kind of like what you're saying by any means, but I have a tendency to suffer from anxiety attacks, panic attacks, stuff like that. pretty prone to high anxiety, ADHD, all that kind of crap. Apparently I'm just tightly wound. But they put me on some anxiety medications I've never heard of before the other day, and took maybe 3 doses, and I immediately stopped. My hair started falling out of my arms.
Oh my gosh.
I wish I could remember what it was called. I went and they told me to bring it back to them and give them back the medication. I don't even have the bottle on me anymore. Alprazolam, Trazolam? It sounded kind of like that. Yeah, kind of like it wasn't triazepine, but it was something along those lines. It sounded the same, but it wasn't the same. And it did. My hair started falling out, and I called the doctor. I was like, "Is this normal?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, don't take that anymore." That's not
with benzodiazepines. That is not a common symptom. But working in the field with addicts and alcoholics who have been strung out on benzodiazepines,
yeah,
there are people out there that do have long-term side effects from taking. I knew this one guy. I don't know if he was suffering from a form of psychosis or whatever, but he claimed that it had altered his body chemistry to the point where, like, he says he can't breathe right. He's almost describing. I don't know if it was like anxiety or whatever, but it was almost like it was it had done something to his body chemistry, and that's not like unheard of, but they're rare. They're rare. Every once in a while, you'll get somebody who has a really adverse reaction to certain medications.
Your body's just not made to take it. That's all foreign. It's all chemicals in our bodies that our body's not used to. Like, that was the first time I'd taken that, and it messed me up pretty bad. Like, I know Xanax works. Xanax, that mellows me out pretty quick. But I just stick with the herbal. I just smoke a good, decent bowl of some fucking concentrate, and I'm golden.
Well, benzodiazepines in general, they're dangerous because they act on the brain just like alcohol. And when you don't take your benzodiazepines, for the soccer mom, the soccer mom pill or wherever,
it'll throw you into seizures.
Grand mal seizure. And then we're not only that, we're dealing with possible addiction issues.
Yeah.
So not only that, now you got to get off the medication, and now you got to deal with substance abuse problems as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I stay away from oxys for that reason, for like the pain. They tend to always want to give me oxy, and I'm just like, whoa. Let's not do this today.
Right, you're like, back up, dude. Come on.
Like, I would love to feel good right now. Like, don't get me wrong, but let's just not do that. That's like a 10 years worth of like, nope, I'm okay.
Well, me being a recovering addict, I can tell you one thing: that oxycodone is better than heroin.
Oh God, it's amazing. I won't lie. But when you stop using it for the pain, and now you're just using it, and then next thing you know, the doctors won't give it to you, and then so you're hunting it on the streets, and then you can't afford it, so then you go to the next thing and the next thing. I never went to the next thing. I quit because I knew what was happening. But I've seen many people go down that dark path.
Well, yeah, and that is the untold story with the pharmaceutical companies, and and they're always going to demonize the opioids in the aspect, but there are many medications that follow the similar stories.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, I call it kind of their way of slavery. In all reality, they start you off when you're a kid, like, oh, you broke a bone, here's some Vicodin, and it's kind of like their secret way of getting us to struggle to the point of where it's easier to control. Because if you have a substance abuse problem, chances are you're not going to have a lot of money. If you don't have a lot of money, you're going to struggle through life. If you're struggling, you're not going to really be able to have the resources to really fight back. That's kind of what I think.
And you're always going to remain dependent on the pharmaceutical industry. And because you don't have the financial means to afford it on your own, then you're completely dependent on insurance, no matter how high they jack up the prices.
Right. In my state, in Oregon, what they did, I think it was maybe, I guess I'll say 2011-ish, maybe a little bit sooner than that. Like, there's a lot of, the whole medication thing was huge. Oxycodone, Oxycontin, the whole bunch. It was everywhere, all over the streets. I mean, you could get it easier than Skittles at the grocery store. And then, like, all of a sudden, they quit making it. Okay, and you could tell who the addicts were and who were using it for pain.
They basically reformulated it so that you couldn't smoke it, and then We had addicts coming in that found a way to smoke it.
Most of the people that I know, I have lost friends now. They've either gone to prison or jail or overdosed on heroin, because as soon as they quit making it, they just went down that path. Like I said, I was strong enough to fight it.
You know, the sad part about, you know, when you're dealing with addiction and recovery is that most addicts don't have money to go to rehabs.
Yep.
And then you send your kid to a rehab, and all of a sudden the family needs to cough up like $30,000.
Yeah, it's not cheap. They don't make it. They don't want us to be recovered. They want us to stay down.
Yep.
That's their way. Unfortunately, they like to keep us down.
We just lost somebody.
Uh-oh. Like, I used to ride a lot of BMX. That's what got me going on that shit. You know, I'd go crack my skull open, or I'd break an arm or a leg, or I'd, you know, damage my body. They'd give me something. And when I was a kid, I didn't know no better. I'd just, okay, cool. Thank you. You know, have a good day, Doc. Who did we lose, though? Oh, we lost Rose, huh?
Yeah.
We lost everybody.
Echo. We lost Echo.
It's just you and I. Boom, chow. I bought copies of the Constitution, and I have a copy of the Declaration of Independence. I don't know why. I just thought it'd be cool to have copies.
I've got copies at my front door.
Mm-hmm. They came in these cool little nifty tubes here. I got them.
Oh, yeah. You know, and I think we were talking about this. Was it yesterday? No, it was the day before. You know, how the war on drugs is kind of ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
They're gonna build the wall to keep drugs out.
Well,
right?
no, you know, I was even, you know, listening to other countries dealing with immigrations in their country, and they have said that walls have been ineffective in stopping immigration. And I'm just like, how much money do we have to dump into this shit before we realize that we're, you know, building a wall is not going to fucking solve anything? You know.
Yeah. But you can't explain that to people who believe in it.
Well,
Where's the music coming from?
Oh, I'm watching Pulp Fiction in the background. I'm sorry, that might have been me. I had my headset out of my ears for a second. But yeah, like the wall's only going to do so much. Any walls of any sort. If you think about it, a lot of our drugs come from, I hate to say it, but our military brings a lot of it in.
Right.
Corruption runs deep. It's everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you got our own military protecting poppy fields over there.
Right. Exactly. And then you get them shipping it in here in coffins with the dead bodies, or, you know, however they can get it in here. It's coming. There's no way to stop it. When the government's bringing it in, how do you stop it?
Right.
You know,
yeah, there was that one senator who son or something plane had, or boat or something had drugs on it.
Mm-hmm. It's right under our noses, and here we are pointing fingers at fucking other countries as if it's their fault. I think it's all just a big distraction, you know. What's going on?
I'm trying to get her. One of the guys on here.
Durka. Fuck, I got like 4 rock stars over here empty. Goodness gracious.
Oh. Should we talk about that on the air? The mysterious appearance of the troll.
The troll.
What?
Well, yeah, what?
You know, the one that added you as a friend and was trying to tell you to call him what, and he was going to make this announcement. And then...
Oh, that guy. Well, yeah, what happened with him? Anybody? He kind of like fell off. I kind of played it safe, and I was just like, who you are or what you are, but just in case, respect, brother. I call bullshit, I said, but hey, it's respect, I told him.
Yeah, yeah. We still don't know if it was the real deal, but it was like, why are you on Facebook?
Just announcing this. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
I tried adding him as a friend and he wouldn't add me, and so I'm like, okay.
He wouldn't add you? He said he knew all about Wolfsec. He said he knew exactly who I was. He said he knew all my people. He said he knew what we were doing, how we were doing it. I was just like, as long as I was like, so.
You know what was bizarre?
Like,
he knew people that I knew by their first names.
So bizarre. So I think maybe he's a Fed, man.
Is this that Christopher Poole?
Yeah, Moot. Mr. Moot, the creator of Anonymous and 4chan.
No,
Sorry,
he was calling it
Channel 4.
Channel 4.
Like, I might be new blood, and I know better than that. Come on now. I've only been in a year, and when he said Channel 4, I was like, what the fuck? What are you even talking about? And I'm serious. I've only been in Anon for maybe a year. Like, so what? This guy was born yesterday. I don't even know what to say.
That would be like Tom from MySpace, like contacting us and be like, okay.
Wow.
Sounds like Mr. Kenyon.
Maybe he just wanted to see what we would do. Maybe he wanted to see what we were talking about. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit.
Oh.
We should get him in here. Let's call him up.
Good luck. We already tried.
He's talking to me. You want me to try to get him in? Hold on.
Wait.
Moot. He's been talking to me. Not right now, but...
His profile's dead.
Is it?
Yeah.
I haven't checked it today. I was talking to him last night. Hold on. I'm going to check it out. What's his name? Christopher some bullshit?
Christopher Poole.
Yep, he's gone. What the hell? That's so random. That doesn't trip you guys out a little bit?
It was so random.
I don't know.
With them all.
He wasn't even a troll. He just wanted to be friends.
And not my friend. He didn't want to be my friend.
He was the utmost respect for me and Wolfsack.
That was so weird.
Then again, I guess everybody has respect for Wolfsack. Kind of hard to hate the good guys.
Yeah, well, one of my buds tried calling him to see if the voice would line up, and he wouldn't talk on the call.
What's his voice supposed to sound like if I were to be able to talk to him?
Look up Christopher Poole on videos. That's what his voice is supposed to sound like.
Okay. Yeah, I've never even heard of the guy. That's how new I am. I hate to say that. I mean, I know that makes me sound bad, but I'm new. I'm not going to sit here and try to lie to kick it.
You're like, I've been with Anonymous for the last 50 years.
Right.
You're like, what?
I'm not even 30. No, I only made it to where I am because most of the people I know have been with Anonymous for, 10 years or so. I do the right things. I show respect. I show love. I don't step on toes. Gotta be real, It's not hard to figure it out. As long as you're not lying and trying to be fucking some sort of fucking idiot.
You haven't spotted too much of that lately.
What, idiots? I see them all day.
Oh, really? I just don't run into them. I've been slowly moving off of Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't do much on Facebook anymore. I just try to spread knowledge. I've been talking to the little green men lately.
What?
Trying to... What? Yeah. trying to get some info. They've been talking to me. Nicely, even. Imagine that. The other day, it said, something, something, something. Somebody was talking to Lucas Stone, and they're saying, we got to come off a vacation. We got new fags running ops again. And I was like, leave it to the old fags to be out having a vacation while there's shit that needs to be done.
Well, I see a lot of
And
new
then they,
kids, starting a lot of ops. I was a new kid on the block. I have my own op that failed, and that's how we live and learn.
Exactly. They tried telling me I wouldn't understand because I'm new, and I was like, no, I understand. You're old and lazy.
Oh,
No.
speaking of, you had some intel on some stuff you guys have been talking about. You want to talk about that on this show?
Which intel? I got lots of intel.
Oh no, the one you wanted to talk about the day I crashed the show on accident.
I don't remember.
The Fed ring you guys got?
Oh God, it's endless. What do you mean? The 200 different doxes?
I don't know. It's all I knew is that you had some intel.
I got billions of screenshots. I got hundreds of doxes. I have, it's endless, really. That's probably something I should private message you and kind of break it down step by step. It'd be way too much to try to break down on the show.
Oh yeah, and it'd probably get us unwanted attention.
Indeed, it would.
But yeah, anybody who's listening
so.
on the show, anonymous is free game. You don't need any authority to start your own thing. You can use the mask and the idea. You can go out there and start doing what you need to do.
It's a free idea. Anybody can be anonymous, and nobody can tell you otherwise. As long as you are for the people, by the people, and love and respect, you are anonymous. The day you start telling people they don't have freedom of speech, the day you start trying to sell stuff for money, the day you start, kind of manipulating the system for your own personal gain, that's frowned upon, but we still can't tell you you're not anonymous. That's not what we do. Granted, we might step in and be like, yo, bro, check it out. Try to straighten it out, but it's kind of, anonymous is a free idea.
Somebody's saying our government has declared war on us.
Oh yeah?
Well,
didn't they hire us to hack our government? If I remember right, Anonymous was hired by the government to hack the government. Oh, I'm trying to remember. I'll look it up real quick so I can make it sound right. But even the feds know there's corruption, and they came to us and asked for our help to figure it out.
I don't know anything about that one. I do know of a op that I really can't talk about, that some shit went down.
Do we ever talk about chemtrails on the show?
Yeah, we can talk about chemtrails.
Man, what do you guys think about that?
Honestly, I believe it's real.
Is it? Do you think it's weather control, or do you think it's population control, or do you think it's both?
I don't honestly know, but it's almost like some of the soil samples and some of the stuff they've been testing. From the stuff I have seen, there's a lot of like aluminum.
Aluminum phosphate.
Ending up on topsoil, and I think they need that.
Sorry.
They need that for cloud seeding. So I think what they're doing is geoengineering.
Right.
If I'm wrong, I might be wrong.
There's a lot of things going on with it. I think there's a billion different angles that they're using it for, really.
Yeah, I think maybe it originally started with the reflecting of the sun, the rays, and just trying to
kind of like a glass bubble,
the global warming kind of effect that's going on. But I think there's been some other things they've realized about it. I don't know the whole. Are they deliberately poisoning us? I think there's adverse effects. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
the
It could be
increase
causing
in
cancer.
well, and the increase in the early onset Alzheimer's.
Yep. That's from the aluminum oxide. That's getting into our
Right,
brains, causing brain damage.
right. And then upper respiratory infections.
Mm-hmm.
And then also when they use it in conjunction with HARP, because HARP's microwave energy, and you put metal in the microwave, it heats
Yep.
up. So.
Speaking of HARP, they just fired that baby back up. I was hearing on the radio the other day. I don't know if you guys listen to Clyde Lewis at all.
No, I don't.
Automatically, no.
Well, no, I never heard of him.
Oh, he's a talk show radio. I don't know what station he would be on, but where I'm at, it's 101.1. It's the old KUFO. He's Clyde Lewis. You got what's the other guy that's on there sometimes? His name is shit, I can't think of his fucking name. But anyways, Clyde Lewis, he talks about a lot of it. He was talking, I guess, 2015, they re-engaged HARP, and they've been, retesting it, rerunning it, reprocessing it, and this recent weather we've been having, very extreme. One day it'll be extremely nice, blue skies, sunny, warm outside. The next day, just storms. Snow for days, rain, ice.
They're gonna be getting a blizzard in Hawaii.
Right.
Seriously, no, today.
Do you hear about California having rivers from the sky?
No.
Yeah.
Apparently there's centralized rivers pouring down from the sky, like literally a river. That's because of how compacted they got these little clouds, and they can just put it wherever they want, and it just dumps. Just boom, here's some water, guys.
Well, when you mess around with the homeostasis, of our environment, you're making hearing some bad echo.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh yeah, much better.
Yep.
So
I don't hear any echo.
Oh, maybe it's just on my end. But yeah, no, you're making long-term problems.
Anytime you mess with the natural functions of things, it's going to cause major backlash, whether it be today or years from now.
Yeah.
We were also talking about this on the same thing with genetically modifying anything, and then it starts producing like these poisonous alkaloids from another mutation. And then you're dealing with the out of control symptom with like a fruit or a vegetable that we need, and nobody can eat it. And then now the animals that need to eat that are dying too.
Yeah, and there's animals that eat those animals.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Kind of killing off the bees.
Oh yeah, with Monsanto's corporation.
Mm-hmm. The weather, if we don't get, let's say, we get a year, no snow, no freezing, none of that, the pests and the bugs get so bad because the ice and the snow is supposed to kill those off. There's a reason for that cycle. It kills off the bugs, keeps the populations low. If like a big farm, industrial type, not industrial, but like farm, whatever they call that, where the farms are, those kind of areas, if you don't kill off the bugs the next season around, they're going to be so bad with pests, you're not going to be able to grow anything. Your corn, your seed, your soil, everything's going to be infested to the point of just destruction to all your crops.
Yeah, I've seen that happen in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a comment. It says, why do the people allow the government to control so much? We could be so much more. We are slaves in an unjust society.
I don't know if it's so much as allowing as it is, it's just we don't have the resources to stop it. There's not enough people aware and willing to do what they need to do.
Well, and there's also another aspect into it is that you're almost a lot of people are very down to obey, or it's like you get those those hotsy potsy people that
Mm-hmm.
just that blindly believe that the government is telling the truth.
All right. They trust their government, which we should be able to trust our government, really. Like, it's kind of sad that we can't, but a lot of people don't realize that. They don't realize that our government is not there to help us anymore. They're not looking out for our greater good. They're looking out for their pocket.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And that's a lot of the big problem right there, is why people aren't willing to stand up and do something about it, because they don't even see it. That's why we call them sheep. Yeah.
Well, it's and any anons that are still listening out there, you got to keep on waking up, people.
Yeah, don't give up. Every day, even if you wake up one more, that one will go out. It's a seed. You plant that seed, it will grow. The branches will spread as they speak. More branches will spread. More seeds will plant. Even if they look at you like you're dumb and they don't acknowledge a word you just said, in their head, it's there now. And maybe when they go home and they're sitting there bored, maybe they'll be like, well, I wonder. They're just going to go home and type in harp or, Mansano or whatever they want to look up because you said something. Just because they look at you like you don't know what you're talking about doesn't mean you're not making a difference.
And somebody just got a comment saying, how do you think we should change it? I think they're referring to our government.
Right. Well, I mean, in my opinion, to be able to change that is going to take a lot of people. It's not going to be just an overnight, we're done, we change the world. It's going to be very slow. It's going to be a process. It is literally waking up people one at a time until we have enough people, because it's in our Constitution. It's our job to make sure the government's doing their job. We are their boss. They are bound by the Constitution, for the people, by the people. The thing is, they fearmonger us into forgetting that sometimes. They have us so afraid, or if you're not afraid, you're just blind to what's really going on, to the point of not anybody. Let's say you got your 1% are rich, and then you got your 99% are us. Well, you got maybe 50% of those people are awake, and then maybe 50% of the awake ones are actually willing to do something. And then 50% of the ones of the 50% that are willing to do something actually have the resources to do it. So by the time you're said and done, you got 5% of your population capable of actually doing something. And that's not enough to do anything, unfortunately.
No, actually, I think it was who told me this, dude. It was a small percentage. It was like I don't know if he said like 3%, 5%, or 15%. But he said if those people stand up, we can make it. That's enough to make a change.
Is it? You think so?
That's what he was saying. I forget who said it.
If you look at Romania, look what happened there. That's just a perfect example. If you just start to stand up and you do something, the people will follow. We don't do, as Anonymous, we don't do leaders, we don't do masters, none of that. But it takes that leader fact, that leader, what do you call it? Just that one person to say so. Somebody else is going to follow that. Sorry, I'm also kind of looking at my phone trying to read while I'm talking.
Me too.
I'm still on harp over here. I'm so far behind.
So, but how many is enough to make a change? Jesse Ventura. Okay, we got a comment about Jesse Ventura. Has exposed a lot of what you have been discussing. Is how I found about this stuff. Jesse Ventura. Yeah, he's what didn't he? once tried to he tried to do something with the Bilderberg group and was ran off.
Yeah.
Didn't he? He tried to infiltrate it.
Yeah.
Yep, here we go. It's the first thing that popped up when I typed his name in.
Somebody's saying,
Yeah,
"Do you
Jesse,
think?" Okay, go ahead.
I was just saying, Jesse Ventura has exposed a lot of different topics.
Mm-hmm. He's
He
actually
was
one of the bigger names.
he was a SEAL, an ex-wrestler, and he was a governor of Minnesota. Am I wrong?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Minnesota.
The guy's got a lot of respect.
Yeah, he was also pumping out the, he was I saw him on a video not too long ago where he was telling people that, the reason we have our Second Amendment there is so that we have the guns and can overthrow the government.
Right.
I believe that was him talking.
No, yeah, he's been a big advocate of that.
All right, we got another comment saying, do you think Standing Rock started the change as an example?
It's definitely a good start. You can see unity. You can see the people getting together and making a difference. But it's also, you can see what our government is willing to do in return, as a kind of a way to open your eyes up to know what to be prepared for when that time does come.
Oh yeah, they're going to bring out the guns.
Yeah. And we would like to think, peaceful protest, stand there, don't fight, don't break stuff, don't burn stuff, don't hurt people. But I don't think that necessarily matters. I think they're going to hurt us anyways.
Oh yeah, Standing Rock's proved that. Occupy Wall Street proved that.
Mm-hmm. They're passing all those bills like we were talking about earlier, about, that one that almost passed. They're almost were willing to let people run us over. The fact that that was on the table, I mean, yes, it didn't pass. But the fact that the idea that they put it on the table, that they can run us over if we're blocking roads, shows where their heads are at.
Exactly.
That should have been booed right out of Congress.
It shouldn't even been an idea.
No.
Whoever thought that shit should have been locked up for manslaughter, just at the idea. And then you got them going around trying to ban peaceful protest altogether, trying to take away our rights. Not too long. Go ahead.
No, that's what I was going to say. It's slowly what they are doing is taking away our rights with every new law that goes into effect. That is another right we have been taken away.
Yeah, that's the whole point of. That's the whole point of the Second Amendment. It's the one amendment that gives you a forceful right to protect your others.
Mm-hmm. I just got pulled over the other day by the police, little bastards, and I got this whole kick right now. I've been trying to push it and get away with it, but it's not looking in my favor. But in the Constitution, we have the right to travel by any means. That means you don't need a license to drive. See, but the key word is driving. And if you don't say driving is to work in a commercial capacity, to be paid to do so. So if you're just driving down the street, minding your own business willy-nilly, you're not driving, you are traveling. In legalese, the language that lawyers and judges speak in, to drive is, like I said, it's to be paid. To travel is you can go from point A to point B, and you're allowed to do so. It's a right of yours. So for them to charge a licensing fee is unconstitutional. For them to charge any fee whatsoever for a given right that's already free is unconstitutional. We don't need a license. Anyways, that's a long blah blah. I got pulled over the other day and I was telling them about all this, and the cop literally laughed in my face and said, I do not have constitutional rights.
What?
Yeah, that's what I said. I looked at him, I was like, excuse me? You're telling me I don't have rights? And he shakes my head, he's like, no, you don't have rights. This is the 21st century. I was like, oh my God, I'm being told right now by a sheriff that I don't have constitutional rights. It's my mind is blown still. That was maybe a month ago. And the fact that this is even a discussion is just, it's sickening. We're losing our country to a bunch of madmen.
Pretty much.
Yeah, see, and that's part of it. That's the guy that pulled you over is probably a sheriff's deputy. Now that's where the sheriff, elected sheriff, he's not teaching his officers something.
Right, yeah, they are. They were deputies. The town was corrupted. The whole town, it's called the City of Cornelius, Oregon, was corrupted. The cops were taking bribes. They were putting bets in. I even got pulled over and was victim of a betting scandal one time. They came, the guy told me he could smell marijuana. I was like, there's no marijuana in the car. But okay, go ahead, search it, whatever you gotta do. I knew I was in my rights. I knew I had nothing wrong, so I just let him play a stupid game. I didn't have insurance. I did have a license, and he was searching my car, and another sheriff rolls up, and he's like, what's going on? Or sorry, there wasn't a sheriff. It was just two local city cops, but he was a higher ranked cop. He comes over, he starts talking to me, asking me what's going on here. I told him, well, the guy seems to think I have heroin in my car because he said he could smell pot. And the cop's like, oh, that's funny. I've talked to you before, haven't I? I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, you just got some weed, right? He's like, I don't even have weed, bro. And he's like, okay, well, I'll tell you what. We have a game going. We just made a bet, me and him. And if I win, you don't get any tickets, and I win $20. And I was like, are you serious? Yeah, the cop straight admitted to me that they were putting bets. And I got away that night. No tickets. So I'm not really bitching, but like just the fact that they did that, that shows that they're taking bribes right there. They're willing to gamble on people's freedoms and rights. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. Well, those cops are all gone now. They were caught being corrupted, and sheriffs took over the city. So we got a whole bunch of sheriffs running amok in a little town now. Somebody's hitting a bong.
Yeah. We got a comment saying, stay out of the middle of the road. I won't run you over.
Right.
All right. Well, I tell you what. You don't run me over. I won't put a bullet in your head. Deal? Deal. Cool.
Come at me close with that car like that and see if I don't jump and smash your windshield in.
Right? The last protest I was at, I think it was just, remember the 5th of November. It was a security guard, I think it was. He came, he plowed maybe halfway through the crowd of 400 people. And finally, he had to stop. He couldn't go any farther. People were on top of his car because he was running people over and not caring. And, I was on the front. I was slapping his windshield, telling him to stop, yelling at him. And the guy rolls down his window and pulls out a gun. Like, this guy was willing to kill people for a paycheck. And it was just, you could see it in his eyes. He was scared. He was shaking. I couldn't back up. There was too many people behind me. So I was stuck with a barrel in my face. But it made me look like a badass, I think, because he put his gun away and rolled his window up and backed up. He was like, okay, these people are crazy. We're getting the fuck out of here. So he rolled up his window and backed up. It's just the way that people are willing to react towards another human being's life simply because of they want their convenience of driving. Just go around the block. Go, 5 minutes out of your way just to not run somebody over. And then you don't have to worry about getting your windshield smashed. And then there's no problems. I'm sorry, but am I wrong?
No.
It's just common courtesy. Nobody owns the world.
Yeah,
that's
true.
The whole point of the protests. Is it's all ours. It's mine. It's that security guards. It's that cops. It's the government. It's everybody's. It belongs to the natives. It belongs, kind of like with the natives. I have nothing against the natives. I'm gonna put that now. But they tend to hate the white man because we took their land. And I understand there was a lot of bad shit that happened, but there's always something bad that happened. You can go all the way back to the beginning of time, you know? There's always something bad that happened. You can't blame the rest of the world after that. Those people have died, they've moved on, their grandchildren have died, now we're here. I didn't kill nobody. I didn't take no, I was born here too. So it comes down to equality, you know, equal rights to all of us. Nobody bought the earth. So rather than worrying about the white man took that or the natives have our land, nobody's land. It's everybody's. So just get the fuck over it and let's just all just get along. You know, if you want to make your pipeline, put a bend in it and go around their land. I don't understand why it has to go straight.
Well, we were talking about that earlier. It's almost, or not, no, it was like a couple shows ago, is that the technology to run on alternative fuel is already here. We shouldn't even be dependent on oil anymore.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Weren't we talking about how like
Hydrogen.
nuclear war, or not nuclear war, Jesus, nuclear energy is like a clean, renewable, you know, constant source, cheap.
No. Well, no. The problem with nuclear power is that it does produce waste.
It's messy.
The problem with the waste is that they got to bury it in a facility, they bury it in the desert here in the U.S. and they leave it. They're supposed to leave it there for like 250 years.
Right.
And but no. Nuclear is, I guess, in theory, clean, right? But that's not the problem. The problem is when it goes wrong. There's nothing you can do.
Nope.
Nothing.
Yeah, look at Fukushima.
Yeah,
Chernobyl.
Fukushima's been leaking. Chernobyl, yeah. You can live in Chernobyl now, I guess. It's clean enough to live.
I wouldn't. You wouldn't catch me.
People go in there all the time, though, don't they? You see, I watch videos online of people going in there. Not supposed to, obviously, but they do. You go check it out.
I heard you can go there, but you got it like on tours and stuff, but you still got to wear those lead suits.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's not that safe.
Okay. I was misled. I'm all thinking, let's go check it out.
But no, alternative fuels out there. Fuel cells is a great addition to it. The blue box guys out there. There's tons of alternative fuels that are completely fucking safe, and there is absolutely no reason why we should even be using, oil or oil derivatives to power our vehicles.
Mm-mm.
And
Right.
I'm telling you one thing, and this is just coming from some guy who's worked on a lot of fucking cars, is that electrical, or no, how should I say it? The recharging your car thing, with the batteries and shit, is really like a ass backwards way of looking at a renewable source.
Right. What do they call that?
No.
The energy.
There's better ones. When you deal with fuel cells, you're essentially dealing with electrical, but the fuel is producing electrical charge.
Have you seen the mines for those electrical batteries? Like the mines that they need to get. I'm losing the name of what they use to make the batteries.
Lithium.
Lithium. Yeah, a lithium mine. Have you seen one of those?
But I hear they're in Afghanistan.
Oh God, they're huge and they're deep and it's pretty as they. Like, what do you do when they go bad? They go to a dump. They go to a landfill. They're not as clean as you think they would be. It's a myth.
Tesla's making that big ass gigafactory.
Who was I talking to about Tesla's inventions that's kind of going out there? It's called the Sunburst End Machine. You ever heard of it?
The what?
It's a machine that you can put.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, it's called the Sunburst End Machine. It's built off of Nikolai Tesla free energy stuff. But the only thing I couldn't because I'm not like I'm not really good in physics or any like the stuff that they were the plans and stuff. But essentially, I was just like, after watching the videos of how this thing worked. I was just like, well, why are they using electrical machine to power this machine? I guess they hadn't perfected it or something.
Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing a bunch of diagrams.
But the problem with the end machine is that you end up with you end up with a lot of like amps, but the volts it only goes up to like 10 volts. And I heard it's kind of like all over the place.
I'm trying to find something to read so we can get something good on it.
A lot of places. Speaking of mines, in Chile, they're having a protest right now on the copper mines, saying that they are an unsafe environment. Sorry, I was reading one of the comments.
The nickel mines?
No, copper mine.
Copper.
Yep.
You can tell we're all researching. It's all quiet.
No, I
Click,
think
click.
like I was listening on the news, and the government was firing tear gas at them and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember in Chile they had those guys that were stuck in that gold mine for like, what was it, like 30 days? They're feeding them through a tube and shit.
Oh God.
Yeah. I think they made a movie out of it too.
See something about the prices jumped up.
Oh, copper.
The copper, yeah, the copper prices jumped up.
There's too many mines. Yes,
Got some
there is.
negotiations.
You watch.
I love that movie.
Can you guys hear the movie in the background?
Yes, I can hear like fucking full blast.
Sorry. My beat, I can barely hear it. I got these headsets in my ears. That's all I can hear is you guys.
Did
Copper
anybody
prices.
see the weird video? This guy saying, Eric, did anyone see the video of weird smoke coming from Area 51? No, I have not. Nope.
Of what?
There was smoke coming from Area 51.
Like the mine or like the base was on fire?
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen the video. Eric, send the link in the chat.
I know there's a whole bunch of court documents just recently released. Apparently, they're forcing the release of the remains of the bodies of the ET that they have. Apparently, they're being released. It's passed through court. They won their case.
Is this because of those FOIA files you can find on the CIA? On the CIA webpage, you can see all the backlog.
Yeah, I got a couple of them right here. I'm trying to pull up right now.
Yeah, somebody was telling me about that. You can look up the old UFO reports on the CIA site.
Yeah, they're being forced to release it. Somebody went and won a battle, I guess, in court, and they don't have a choice. That's now public domain.
Yeah, the first thing that was catched was UFO, and I was just like, "What do you mean it's catched on the CIA webpage?" So I pressed it, and all this fucking documents are there.
Yeah, we are either they're real, either there really is ET and really have their bodies and really all that shit's real like we thought it was this whole time, or B, there's the other conspiracy thought that they're only telling us this because they don't want us to know that the technology, the UFOs in space is really our technology. The whole Star Wars in space is really our wars in space. Have you heard anything about that?
No, I don't know. There's this one guy that comes to mind. I think I talked about him on another show, and this was a really weird one. There was a guy back in the early 90s that said he didn't work at Area 51. He worked at Area 52 or whatever, the one in Utah. Yeah. So he said back in the early 90s in this video after he was done working, he said for that facility, he said that our government had UFO technology, or at least had the ships, and these things were using the anti-gravitational field and were using unantonium. All right.
Right.
But that's just really weird because unantonium wasn't discovered until 2014.
Or at least that's when they released that it's been discovered.
But
that's
but you need a proton accelerator to even make unantonium.
be surprised the things our government has. You know,
I'm just saying you need a proton accelerator to make unantonium. At least I'm almost positive. It's an unstable element.
Let's see here. Yeah, we got here. I have an application has been filed in court here demanding that the Air Force release the remains of the extraterrestrial beings or beings it is alleged to be holding in secret custody, Pentagon officials said today. Let's see. Yeah, sanitized copy approved for release.
Is this for MUFON?
Let's see here.
They're like the only like legit place I'll ever look for stuff.
I would Washington aliens. Yeah, it's not. C's copy approved for release. CIA. I just have a bunch of numbers and codes.
He has the codes. He has the codes.
Yeah, it's not really from a source. It's like official documents that I have. A CIA Air Force cover-up of UFO claimed the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency of the Air Force conspiracy to cover up the surveillance of military based by unidentified flying objects. A man who has studied UFOs contends. William Spalding, director of Ground Saucer Watch in Phoenix, Arizona.
Wait. Isn't that the same Spalding? It's Doctor, I believe Spalding. Isn't he the guy that used to remove the implants from these people that said that they were abducted? And he actually has them, and he got them. He put the implants that he had gotten from them under a gas spectrometer, and they had unidentified elements in these things that he was removing from the patients.
Right. Yes. Well, here he's claiming he has. He says he can back the charge with 100, or sorry, not 100, just 1,000 pages of documents obtained. Let's see. The date of all this is 1979, though. St. Paul Pioneer Press.
Well, I'm saying, this guy has been doing this for years. I think he's a. But I don't know.
It's interesting. Apparently, I don't know. I'd like to see me some aliens. Where are they at?
Well, no, he wasn't like an alien. He wasn't like, he was the guy just removed the implants.
Right. But what are those implants? How'd they get there? There's no marking on your skin. Like they're like attached to your bone.
Well, essentially what he would do is he would get these patients that would insist that they had something implanted in their body, and they were abducted, and they went up to aliens, and he would do
ran their X-rays and tests.
Yeah, and then he would find something there and would take it out, and then he would save these things and run them under a gas spectrometer, and lo and behold, they have some of them have unidentified elements.
Right. Some of them said to be that of the material from what do they say? It was like like an asteroid, like a meteorite, chunks of meteorite under their skin. But I don't know, it's really interesting. All this classified stuff, there's not much you can find about it, and anything you do, there's always going to be something telling you that's not real. So it's hard to really distinguish what's what out there when it comes to classified alien technology.
Right.
I know, I've been researching aliens most of my life. That's kind of how I became an anon. Honestly, aliens just kind of...
Did you used to listen to Mike Siegel and George Norrie and Art Bell?
Yeah, I've
KFI!
listened...
Oh, shit.
You had that... What's that one guy's name? The one that was on the History Channel with the crazy hair?
Oh!
I always liked him a lot. I can't. But yeah, I started watching this stupid stuff. Next thing you know, I start researching the reptilians. I love the reptilians. And then, the Men in Black, the secret government, FBI bodyguards, shapeshifters, all that kind of fun stuff. And then I found out about Hitler and his exploration to Antarctica.
Oh,
So you guys hear much
have you
about?
ever looked up the Hitler experiment with the thing that they were making in? Oh God, this was an anti-gravitational. This is real. They were trying to build an anti-gravitational engine, and it was ended up looking like something like a bell. And there,
Right.
on the on the diagrams that they had found on what the Nazis were trying to do with this, is that it was powered, that the engine was powered by liquid, or it had liquid mercury in there. Something that's like not really common, something you would think of for, what they were trying to do.
That bell was time travel, wasn't it?
I think so, or it was anti-gravitational.
Didn't Hitler jump in that thing and disappear? That's kind of the alternative to
No, I think that they what had happened is that the facility got into a war zone, or the enemy, or whoever came in, and everybody bailed.
Fucking Hitler. Just another Osama bin Laden, man. Just bailed, disappeared. We don't know. Yeah, we killed him. But where's his body? I don't know. Don't worry about his body.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of evidence. You ever watch that show on searching? There was a lot of evidence that he had escaped Germany and ended up in South America. He went to Argentina. Yeah. Yeah, and they also had. Not only that, they had. I believe they had these sleeper cells that were out there, and these little fucking communities and shit. And their plan was to establish this whole colony and invade America from South America.
Yeah, there was a TV show. There was a TV show called Chasing Hitler.
Yeah.
Okay.
They found a bunch of They found all this Nazi pins and shit in Argentina, and they found a photograph of him with a woman in Argentina, and the FBI was looking for Hitler after the war, and there's a lot of documents saying that they were.
It's always a mystery.
But we didn't need Hitler. We used, what was that, Project Paperclip, when we brought all the scientists over?
Oh, yeah.
Gave them immunity.
Some of those guys ended up working for NASA, right?
Oh, yeah.
He was the guy who built the Saturn V rocket, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, because it was Nazi Germany that first invented the rocket. The jet airplane.
Only because they were willing to do shit nobody else was willing to do.
Well, they didn't spare no expense.
Exactly. There's something to be said about people who don't value human life. It might be horrible, but shit gets done. Right.
They have no other choice.
If you're going to start slaughtering people to figure shit out, you better get it right.
Well, no. I think that's not what goes on. Usually during wars, a lot of technology will be invented quicker during times of war. That's a more accurate picture. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds better.
There you go.
Much more simple-minded, I guess. Straight to the point. Well, guys, I don't know. I might have to step away here. I'm sorry about getting later.
Yeah, we might not go to the full.
What do we got left normally?
I don't know. I can't. I'm actually in my car right now because I don't want to wake up my housemates that just moved out of the city.
This guy's in his car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what time it is there. It's only 10 o'clock here, really.
It's almost
But
like
you guys are
midday
like 3
here.
hours ahead of me, so. I don't know. I was just hungry. I might come back after I eat something. I just got to eat something, though. So if you guys are still on here in about a half hour, I'll come back.
All right.
All right, y'all. Otherwise, catch you guys tomorrow.
All right.
Take care, bro.
Have a good night.
Hello?
Yep.
All right, so what to talk about is just Tyler and Jody.
Yep. I have no clue. Look at some comments.
Somebody said, do you guys know the reason the Greys betrayed Hitler?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Because he lost the war on aliens and violated the deal. I'm sorry, Gustavo. I don't know anything about that. I really don't. Yes, Ophelia, I am hosting it in the car, the show in the car, and it's like 30 degrees out here. Somebody wants to talk about Pizzagate. You got anything on that?
Pizzagate? Yeah, I run help with the page.
I kind of had to jump out of all of that because some of the people, like I said, there's a lot of truth to it, but some of the people that I was talking to were just so bizarre to the point where it's just kind of like, I ain't even gonna go somewhere else, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Pizzagate is just the one. I mean, that's an easy tagline that people remember, so it gets talked about. You know, and it seems like anything anymore that has to do with, child
Pizza.
trafficking.
Yeah, it was like these people. Some of the people I was talking to. I mean, yeah, there were some really good people there, but some of the other people that I was talking to was like anything affiliated with pizza was in the same realm, and I'm just like, okay, I need to back off a little bit here, you know?
Yeah. No, I do believe in the whole Pizzagate shit. I mean. It is very bizarre, kind of like from the very first beginning. I kind of jumped into it and started researching it. Edward D'Angelo, he started the Pizzagate and asked me to help him with it, and I was full force with it there for a while. Because that James Alefantis dude, man, he is just a piece of work, man. I mean.
Yeah, I looked up his website, and not only does he own the one for Comet Pizza, but he also owns the place next door. If I'm not correct, right? That weird the fishing, the Buccaneers fishing, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I mean, that started getting into another realm, and a lot of it's just kind of speculation, you know. But I mean, the one thing that gave Pizzagate credibility in my book was like the censorship, like the hashtags were starting to be taken away off of Instagram. Reddit banned the link, the Pizzagate thread. It started getting edited by the person that owns Reddit, and then it got banned completely. Hashtags started getting removed from all sorts of things. You had YouTube channels going down. All sorts of violations of people on Facebook for talking about Pizzagate. When you see that much oppression and censorship, I mean, you're gaining traction there.
Yeah.
But I mean, Pizzagate's just, the whole James Alefantis, the Comet Pizza and Ping Pong, that was just the one that took off. But I mean, you go online and you see all these movie actors like the Coreys, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman. They'll tell you, I mean, all kinds of stars will come out and tell you, yeah, I was surrounded by pedophiles as a child actor, So I mean,
yeah, Corey, yeah,
Oh, I can't understand nothing you're saying, man. Hello? I don't know if I'm lost or if I lost Tyler. Tyler?
Corey.
Wow. I think we lost Tyler. Yeah, that did sound like Wally. Well, hopefully Tyler will be back on here soon. I don't know if I'm lost or if I lost Tyler. Yeah, uh-oh. I'm gonna sit and give him a minute to see if he can get back. It's all up to you now. No pressure. It's kind of hard to talk without having anyone to respond to you. But yeah, one of the things about Pizzagate, like I was saying earlier before we lost Tyler, when you just see so much censorship, so much, oppression on things, that specific subject, there's got to be some sort of substance behind that. But it goes way bigger than just Pizzagate. There's a long history of people in high places doing stuff along those lines. Probably totally lost.
I'm right. I'm back.
Hey, there he is.
Yeah, I got this. I got this weird saying that Google had disconnected me from their server.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Echo?
I tried to keep it going.
I think can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I never had an error like that. It's almost as though like I have a funny feeling that I might not have this account by tomorrow. Like there's somebody else logging in.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. It's only tied to nothing, buddy.
I think that's a big fucking dead end. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, I know who the Tyler Durden kid is. I know who he is. I'm like, I came out of a movie, brother. I came out of a fucking movie.
Everybody does. He was Edward Norton. Oops, spoiler. Hope nobody out there was like waiting to see that fucking movie all these years later. If somebody's super behind on it, I just totally fucked that up for them.
Is anybody watching the feed?
I'm not.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, cool. Are we still live?
Yeah. We're still good.
Okay. Yeah, I've never had an error like.
Oh.
I don't know how I didn't get
you again.
Okay, so we were talking about Pizzagate.
Yeah, that rabbit hole.
Right. That's
So
exactly what it is.
I heard that they were actually making arrests now, weren't they?
You know, I've heard that too. I've seen headlines, but I've tried to follow up on that. I've tried to like ask somebody, hey, have you heard anything more about this or whatever, or try to get more information on the arrest, and I can't seem to ever get more information.
Yeah, no, I think it's been more than like just clickbait headline, to get people to click and go to it. But I haven't been able to find anything about actual arrests. Now, there's been a lot of like trafficking arrests, just that seem totally unrelated, to like actual Pizzagate or high-ranking officials being arrested or anything like that are connected. But like some of the headlines we've seen.
Yeah, I know I saw one article that was like, some sensational headline, like Pizzagate confirmed arrests just made or whatever, and then when you read the article, it was, it was sex trafficking related, and it really wasn't. It was obviously a very misleading title.
Yeah, I remember seeing
really
one saying something
because
about.
It invalidates it then.
Yeah, I remember seeing one that said something about waiting for Jeff Sessions to be sworn in and arrests were to be made once but then nothing's happened. Don't hear nothing about it.
See, and that shit irritates me, because then when you have legitimate goings on, that type of clickbait shit and misleading stuff really invalidates what's actually going on.
Right. And then you had that the whole Ben Swan thing. He did that segment over Pizzagate and all the information about it, and then he got his show pulled, and he's supposedly now just doing like regular ass stories, like in quick little 30-second segments, and like all his social media went blank and went dark and stuff, and there's like the big mystery around that. Same thing with David Seaman right now. He's being attacked by like the New World Agenda YouTube channel and stuff, calling him a government shill and all this and that. But they're the two that kind of, blew the whole story up and brought it to everybody's attention,
I have to say too, I know you had said earlier, that what sort of solidified its validity for you was like the, all the intervention.
And oppression.
Yeah. That's sort of what did it for me too. Because I'm not gonna lie, at first I was kind of like, some of the stuff was just so over the top and so sensational and everything that I was like, like it just sounded a little too out there. But yeah, all the censorship and stuff was like, whoa, like this can't just be a coincidence.
Right. And then you got like the the encrypted messages in the emails with Podesta, and the use of certain wordage that is the known pedophile lingo codes.
Yep.
I wasn't even like, I was at first I was just like, what the fuck is all this shit about? And they have like all these like symbols and code words, and I was just like, man, it's really fucking weird.
Yeah, and then you just see all the photos, like the pictures and stuff that like Alefantis and even Podesta himself was like posting and on their own social medias, like especially that Alefantis on Instagram. I mean, I've got screenshots before they all got taken down, and I mean, some of them were just really fucked up. And then they have a concert hall inside, and then some of the groups, the bands that come, the names of the groups and their content. And it's supposed to be a family place. I know it turns to 21 and over after like a certain time of night when they do concerts. But I mean, you have ones that's called Sex Stains, and they have what looks like on their album cover like a small child between their legs. And then some of the paintings on the walls inside Comet Ping Pong looks like people doing shit with children. I mean, it's fucked
Yeah,
up.
those paintings are bizarre and very uncomfortable to even look at, let alone
I
to imagine
know.
somebody owning it. And who the
And
fuck
allowing
did that?
and allowing children in there to see those. You know, because it's a family place. It's ping pong. Kids go there to play ping pong while they eat pizza. You know, it's like what?
I don't
And
know.
then there was like the picture of the basement that Alefantis put, and he put kill room, and it shows like this empty room with what looks to be like a heavily secured, almost concrete wall door. And I mean, there's so many coincidences where they quit being coincidences.
Well, yeah, without a doubt, James Alefantis is guilty in my book. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. In all honesty, I think if it wasn't for the mass and widespread censorship, I probably still would be like, I don't know. You know, like I'd be a little not fully convinced, I guess I'd say. But that mass and widespread censorship, like I just can't believe that that's coincidental or accidental or, you know, like it just seems very, very obviously intentional and for very specific reasons.
Yeah.
It is cold as fuck out here. It's like 30 fucking degrees and it's snowing.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I ain't seen snow in 2 years.
We're covered in snow here.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I'm down in Texas, so I haven't seen snow down here in 2 years now. Gotten lucky.
Oh my god.
Yeah, well, it's midnight here where I'm at. I think I'm gonna hop off here and get some sleep for work tomorrow.
All right.
Unfortunately, I have to hop off too.
All right, you guys want? We only have like a half an hour left. You guys want to call it?
I think we might as well. We don't have anybody else coming back on, right?
No, I'll just run the replay video and then we'll go out.
Right.
Sounds
on.
good.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Right,
night.
Shout out to everybody out there that was watching. Keep watching it.
Yeah, thanks everybody who's listening and watching. Thank you.
And thank you, Tyler, for doing this day in and day out that you do it, man.
Yeah, I was just a backup. This is like the first successful one I got. All right.
All right. Well, take care, everybody.
I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly.